Viewer discretion is advised.
Happy Friday. Technically it's Thursday, but we're going to call it Friday because that's when you guys are listening and or watching. Speaking of that, you are listening and or watching PWNCAST. This is episode 185. We are in patch 7.3.2. Tonight we're going to be talking about all the things BlizzCon. We have our BlizzCon, expansion at BlizzCon, so much news at BlizzCon, everything BlizzCon. That's going to be the theme of tonight's show. So get hyped. Jim is ready. He's got his little, I don't know what they're called. It looks like two wieners slapping, so I'm not really sure. I don't really know what they're called. But we have that and much, much more, so make sure you guys stay right here.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Amongst the Azeroth elite, there is a group that defies convention. A group that stands in the face of trolls and doesn't flinch. A group that strives on unity, trust, and unwavering resolve. A group that eats tacos. For the players, by the players, we bring you. She can start a revolt with a Chaos Bolt, Bell, the PWNCAST Vanguard. Snap back and get faster for the Pet Battle Grandmaster, Gemma Banks. With holy might as strong as his ancient knowledge, Remedies, the Argent Loremaster. We bow to no one. We are Legion. We are PWNCAST.
Welcome back to the show. Guys, I realize I sound like an 85-year-old woman who's been smoking her entire life. I thought I just lost my voice from the arenas, watching the arenas live. Turns out I have the Ebolas. So,
sounds like your normal voice. Was that live or did she hear that?
Oh yeah, everyone heard that. But I have the Ebolas right now. It's the Ebolas. It's slowly developed into the Concred, which I thought I was going to escape this year, but it hit me super hard earlier. So it turns out I did not escape the Concred. It looks like you two are just fine.
We're good.
You want to know why? Because you guys go out into the real world every day, and I don't. Like, I go to the grocery store and I come home. I go to the gym and I come home.
I'm forced to partake.
Right.
So, yeah.
But I did bring my fellow con buddies, my besties, my fellow castmates, my fellow
super friends,
taco lovers, my fellow nerds, guys, just nerds. I did bring the monk, who is the cosplay-loving Horde side trader, which we might all be Horde side traders soon. We'll talk about that later. Who needs to learn how to not yell when he's having any kind of a conversation at BlizzCon? Gemma Banks.
Oh,
yeah. I just got called out for like yelling at people by actually Belle specifically. And you know what's funny about that is I'm working on it, but I met a couple like listeners, like not where you guys were, and I was a little buzzed. So I have a feeling I was yelling at them also, like, "Hey, thanks for watching the show," and blah blah blah. So, and you know, Gemma loves his cosplay. And
well, I mean, you just like to. I'm not gonna say the word like touch cosplayers, but you do try to gaze. I feel like you're a booty gazer.
I'm a gazer. I took lots of photos too. And then, of course,
that just makes it super weird.
The Horde side trader is just referencing to, obviously, I'm sure most people listening have seen the trailer for the new expansion, and that just got me hyped.
Well, also
no matter what faction.
Well, and which we're going to talk about later, but the way the way they're getting back to the faction-only leveling zones is going to cause people that are only one faction to want to experience the other side of it. But we'll talk about that when we talk about the expansion stuff. I did also bring the priest who's a coconut shrimp eating, dinosaur hugging. No, he tried to fondle the dinosaur. Feathered hair, Lore Master Beauty Remedies. I didn't do those intros. Gemma did, and I think he's hired.
But no, the dinosaur, I found out who that was. I don't remember his name right now, but I found out who it was. So there's that.
The T-Rex suit. You got to picture everyone. The T-Rex suit walking around. There was a guy all con, and then one evening, we were all a little juiced up, actually. But yeah, Rem was hugging a dinosaur, and it's pretty funny, actually. Classic. Do we intro Belle?
No, there's no intro. Belle doesn't get an intro. You boys deserve the intro.
The warlock who sucks at everything.
I
Who
wanted
is
to
also
say,
a party planning master.
I'll let Jimma, because Jimma took the time to do the intros, I will let Jimma do this intro. This is history. I have never, in the history, there's a lot of cold medicine involved here, but never in the history of ever have I ever gave the intro reins to somebody.
Hashtag Jim for host.
The fans demand it.
well, let's settle down, everyone. The Warlock, who is the party planning master, Con Before the Storm hostess, who pitches guild ideas to Ian, Bell.
That was good.
Right?
You don't do it with my flair and panache, but that was
Of
good.
course. You're one of a kind, but maybe you want to speak on Ian real quick, or
Guys,
I don't care. That was cool.
things happened this year at BlizzCon that were magical. But before we talk about Ian, I'm going to talk about that in my segment. Just remind me to go back to that. I want to make sure we get to the important stuff. Then we could talk about all the fun to be had. Our segments this week are going to be about our con experiences. We are going to talk a lot of it about BlizzCon after we get into the nitty gritty of what happened World of Warcraft related. But, and I will be talking about the very soul crushing World of Warcraft Arena Championships that happened this year. Soul crushing. I'll be talking about that in my segment. But let's get the other stuff out of the way. Since we moved the show to Friday, we finally get to tell you what's happening with next Tuesday's reset. I am so excited because now what we say is actually relevant. Yay. PvP Brawl that's going to be for Tuesday's reset is going to be Deep 6. A lot of things can be inferred here. But that's basically, I think it's... Isn't it like Arathi Basin? Isn't it it's like Arathi Basin, just only six people, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember the Arathi Basin was like the winter one.
No, that's I don't know. I know it's the flag map.
No, Winter Arathi is.
Yeah, I'll
Arathi
look
Blizzard.
It up.
I know it's the flag map.
Warsong Gulch.
Warsong Gulch. I was thinking of the wrong map. So
that'll be fun. We'll have to do that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be. I think it's 6 vs 6, which is cool.
Yeah, that one was good. Yeah.
And in the same token, the Battleground bonus event is up for your viewing pleasure, your participation pleasure, whatever kind of pleasure. Moonkin Festival, November 12th, which is next week. Get together and flap, guys, because that's what Moonkins are about. Flapping in the wind.
Careful
And
with your words,
Jimma
man.
was right. He did talk about Legion PvP season ending soon. That's going to be ending on the 28th when Normal and Heroic is open for Taurus. And then Season 6 will begin at that same time. It'll just be a switch that turns on. So, yay for all of that, which is really, really nice. So, let's talk about the release of Taurus. Taurus, the Normal and Heroic difficulties will be releasing November 28th. And November 5th is going to be Mythic difficulty along with Raid Finder Wing 1. December 19th is going to be Raid Finder Wing 2. December 2nd, LFR Wing 3. And January 2nd is Wing 3. And January 16th is Wing 4, which is amazing.
2018, holy.
I know.
Crazy. I thought we were going to die in 2012. So, I mean, this is great.
Well, all of us survived Y2K, right? So we can really live on.
Yeah. Life will go on.
There's that exact moment when somebody sends you a Facebook message and you can't stop the show in the middle of the show, but you want to really badly. But you can't, and that's why you shouldn't look at Facebook while you're perusing the notes.
Correct. This is testing you for live, right? For live.
Right.
By the way, roll back really quick. Deep 6 is Warsong, Silver Shard, and Katmagoo.
Okay,
Whoa,
I was way
that's
wrong.
neat.
I thought it was flag carrying maps for some reason.
Is this our first time having this one?
No?
No,
We've had it
I
before
think we
my
had
fault.
it. I want to say we had it like a month or two ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flags are closer in Warsong Gulch. There's only 2 carts in Silver Shard, and then there's only 2 orbs in Katmagoo. We've done that one before. We did all 3 of them when it first came out. Then again, that was also a while ago now.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for more PvP brawls, which they did talk about. They're going to be increasing those for the new expansion, stuff like that. So I'm pretty happy about that. Now, one of the more notable things was the announcement of the classic servers, which, once again, it's one of those things where Bell knew ahead of time and couldn't tell anybody and had to keep that shit a secret for a really long time. So I'm kind of glad that I don't have to keep that secret anymore. Here's the thing about that, guys. I know we're all super pumped, right? We're super jazzed. And I was talking with a friend earlier about it, and we were like, yes, we're gonna do it like they used to do it, and we're gonna grind, and it's gonna be awesome. 3 months later, fuck this shit. We're going back to live because we don't want to deal with all this.
Oh, so, you are not going to survive in the classic.
No, I don't plan on doing it. I might check it out, obviously, just for podcasters' sake. I'm not one of the people that was super stoked about it. I do have an opinion on the value that I do think it will bring for new players and veterans alike. I do think that there will be a little bit of value there in regards to appreciation for moving forward and appreciating evolution in a game and what that means. And I have strong opinions. I'm going to do a video about that. But
that'll
classic
cool.
servers, I want to know what you guys think. Like,
so I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Not in the sense, like, I'm with you. I probably won't spend that much time on it, but Blizzard has listened to the people, and there's enough players that do love that experience, the nostalgia, and then also for the people that say they want to go back and do it, they can do it and realize they probably won't want to keep too much time in the old world. But I really loved the cinematic leading up to it. I didn't see it coming at all, and the way they just did all the expansions in reverse, and then it got to classic vanilla and the crowd just erupted. It was crazy. So it's exciting.
Rem, what about you?
Yeah, I'm same boat as Jim. I might dabble in it, but I'm not like, I wasn't one of the gung-ho people. For me, it's the rose tinted glasses, but there's enough people where it's going to be continuous, and it's going to be a what's the word? Not only a profit for them, and they're not going to like lose anything out of this, because there's going to be enough people in and out, but I won't be spending it more than like a month or two.
There's going to be legit 40-man raid groups again. Like, there's going to be legit guilds.
Here's the thing, too. When something is taboo, it's always amazing. So this has largely been illegal in Blizzard's land for a really long time, like since the beginning of the very first, illegal classic server. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Sorry, I tried to hold that one in before. I'm going to be muting a lot because I do have a little bit of a cough. Once that taboo is removed, I think we'll find that a couple months in, the news is going to wear off, guys, which is okay. Whatever, people are happy. Classic servers, Chromie wound back time. Like, I think that's great. We saved her, so she brought us classic servers. Like, I get it. I think that's awesome. Nothing being taken away. I don't expect everybody to leave live to go.
Yeah. But there's people playing those illegal servers, and people are donating to those people who are maintaining them, like as like GoFundMe's or whatever. So like similar to the buying and selling of gold, which Blizzard didn't like, they took it into their own hands. So they took Classic into their own hands, and it should be good.
This is why I love Blizzard, because where they see a problem, they find a solution, so it's no longer a problem for them, so they can focus on other things. And I think that I'm pretty happy about that. But it's not going to be free, so...
Do you think it'll be within the same subscription?
No, I think it'll be discounted if you. I think it'll be separate, but I think it'll be discounted if you have a main subscription. I think you'll probably get a discount on that. Point. If I were them, I wouldn't discount, because they need a lot of manpower for that, especially for older bug fixes that they don't deal with anymore. So I would expect there to be another full price. I wouldn't feel bad about it, and I wouldn't feel sorry if people had to pay full price for both. That's just something you're going to have to. But I expect because of how Blizzard is to give it, maybe it'll be like $5 or $6 a month versus, whatever.
16. Yeah. I was very naive, and you guys were in a group discussion talking about like when it was going to be released, and you said a couple of years, and I'm thinking, it'll be up and ready to go in like 4 months, 6 months. And you're like, no, it's going to be a long time. That's
like at least 2 years away.
Yeah. I'm oblivious.
Maybe like a year and a half-ish.
We don't have much other information on that, and I want to make sure that I clarify, guys, it's not going to be anytime soon. They're hiring for the project right now. It's not going to be anytime soon. I would venture to say we're looking at about a year. Also, guys, I have a confession to make. I've been trolling everybody about March being the expansion release date. So many people have been messaging me on Twitter, and they're like, it's not going to be March. There's no way. We have all this stuff. And I'm like, guys, it's just troll. Calm down. It's going to be all right. Neil, I love you, my man. Like, I love you. It is going to be sooner than what everybody expects, but I just like how, it's March, guys. Expansion. You heard it here.
I'm ready for it.
I just like trolling. It's funny. People get really serious when it comes to stuff like that, and they're like, no, it's this. We're gonna be all right, guys. We're friends.
Sometimes we don't know who's trolling and who's not.
I know, and I'm really good at that. I do stand by my statement that it is going to be sooner than expected. I do also stand by my statement that I might know more than other people know. So when I say things, I may know a little bit, and I may not. I could be completely bullshitting and might not know anything. That's the great thing. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to be clearing my throat a lot through this, and I'm going to try to mute, and I apologize.
It's okay. Don't be the Canadian on the show. No
I know.
Stories.
I don't like.
40% of the time, Belle talks out of her ass. So, I mean,
it's pretty much valid. You guys never know what's truth. However, I am particularly happy that we saw an expansion announcement because we knew we were due for one, guys. Although a lot of people commented that it seemed very rushed. I'm sure it did. I'm sure that there's more in development that they didn't want to comment on because they didn't know how it was going to play out. So
yeah.
I believe that they gave us what we needed, which was hope that there is more out there, right? So we could figure 7.3.5 probably December, January most likely, right, for 7.3.5. 7.4, according to the way that the timeline looks, could potentially be our pre-expansion stuff. That could be where we have a couple months of doing pre-expansion. I don't really know. There might be other patches before and after that. I don't know how far we're getting to 8.0 or whatever. I'm not 100% sure on that. So, but we're getting there. We're like, it's time. I expect the expansion to be hitting alpha, or sometimes they might skip right to beta, but I know Legion Alpha was first. I expect that to be in a timely manner. We didn't get a date announced. The reason we didn't get a date is because we're not done with this expansion. They're not going to announce a date until we've completed the final phase of this expansion with this content. So then we'll probably see a date. Maybe 3 or 4 months from now. I'm not 100% sure. They don't really like to give dates either because they don't like to be...
They also don't want to shoot themselves in the foot, right?
They try to avoid locking themselves in with something. So I want you guys to remember a few things. And I've talked about this before. I don't think it's going to be another year for the expansion. It doesn't need to be in beta this absorbent amount of time because they don't need the entire expansion to be ready for launch. They only need the first, 3 or 4 patches, maybe, and a bulk of the back-end content of the things that they're changing, such as what they're doing for the necklace, which we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So, unlike previous stuff, they don't need the entire expansion to be ready to go live. They just need the meat and potatoes plus the first set of content, and they can work out the rest of the content later. So, that's why
all I need is meat and potatoes. Hello.
I don't need to know anyone from Blizzard to know it's going to almost be 2 full years because look, we're almost
we'll probably
in January now.
I would probably say I think Neil was probably the closest. I think a couple other people on Twitter had said around July. I think we'll probably see something.
Well, August would be 2 years, right? August 30th.
I think we'll see it before August. Not very much before, but I think we'll see it before August.
The good news is too, correct me if I'm... No, I won't get into it because there's more things to talk about. Continue, Belle.
What, you had something to say.
Well, I don't want to do that REM thing where I jump into the next topic when it's on the news.
Whoa.
I read the show notes and...
Wow.
You're right. I just did that.
I can't talk right now. I'm under a bus.
I watched the show as well, okay?
The name of the expansion is Battle for Azeroth. I want to rewind to last week's episode, and I want you guys to all watch last week's episode, or I want you to re-listen to last week's episode. And I want you to count the amount of times I said Battle for Azeroth in the show randomly, and I want you to report back in comments and tell me how many times you counted that I threw that in there. Because I was trying to do like the Secret Finders do, where they throw stuff out there. But I wasn't as good at it. So I want you to go back to last week. So go back to episode 183, and I want you to just listen with your ears and count how many times Belle said
184.
184.
Or is it 184? Tell me. I want you to count how many times I said a version of Big Battle or Battle for Azeroth, or the many other ways that I try to throw that sentence in there. However, here's what I loved about seeing this on the screen. All the people that were like, hashtag Tides of Vengeance, hashtag Void of the whatever, Darkness of the Void, or all the other things that we see on Reddit, which, guys, a lot of this stuff was pretty right on with the maps and stuff like that. But when you think about it, it isn't necessarily so much that they're leaking. It's logical, right? Even Rem has talked about the last 6 months, the logical step for us was to go to South Seas. It isn't that out of the realm. Like, we weren't surprised by where we were going, not because Redditors leaked it, but because it was the next logical step, especially given the storyline that's unfolding. Now, a lot of people felt like they were super underwhelmed with the Battle of Azeroth and the things that we saw, but I got to tell you guys, there's nothing to be underwhelmed with just yet, because we still don't really know what we're dealing with. We don't know what the raids look like. We only know what 2 dungeons look like. We don't know
Am I confused? Is that the actual feedback? Because
a lot of people said they were very underwhelmed. I've been looking at the forums
goodness.
the last couple days, looking at social medias, but these are also the same set of people that complain about the dumb shit that I call them out on the show for. So I wouldn't and that's okay. If you feel underwhelmed, guys, you don't have to love it. We just wait and see how it develops. Don't judge it just yet, though. Wait until, just wait and see. So let's talk about what the Battle for Azeroth is, and let's talk about what we're going to be doing. So at this point, the Alliance and the Horde are in an all-out war. We are at war with Horde, Alliance and Horde, back to where we should be. For 2 expansions, we've been fighting together. We've been cohabitating on the same leveling maps. We've been... I've been fighting with Horde left and right because they've been taking my shit. Like, they've been tagging things. We've been doing things together because we had to, right? We had to join forces to fight the Legion. Otherwise, nobody would live. That age-old, enemies will be in together. Now it's time for us to kill each other again, guys, and I'm ready because that's what this game is about. World of Warcraft. That's what it is, Warcraft. We're supposed to be at war. Alliance and Horde aren't supposed to be friends. I ain't trying to be your friend. Jimma, if you're Horde, we ain't friends. I can't get down with you.
We ain't friends. Enemies on the show.
However, I am sporting the Alliance Horde shirt because...
That's a nice shirt. I like that. Rem picked up one of those
With
too.
this, we're going to be battling for not only the land, we're going to be battling for resources, which Azeroth, we're going to talk about that later. We're going to be fighting essentially for each faction's survival. Because right now we've got Anduin. Holy fuck, that's cinematic, guys. That's cinematic whether you are Alliance or Horde, both sides from a Sylvanas and Anduin standpoint. Mm-hmm. Everybody screamed when Sylvanas turned into a Banshee. I'm not Horde, so I don't know... what the weight of that was from an emotional standpoint. Like, a lot of people got emotional. Because I'm not Horde, I don't know why people were like that. And that's okay. I don't need to know. But
are you sure you don't need to know?
Well, I mean, you could tell me because I don't.
I need to know because I don't. Why?
Well, so a quick backdrop on that is the reason why some people are feeling the feels for that is because generally Sylvanas is more about herself and the Forsaken, and so something happened for her to make that her battle cry. Usually it's about all the Forsaken.
Oh.
And because she doesn't like being the war chief, even though she does. What
I don't understand is why she didn't die in that cinematic and your king did die. And now we have to go and have the Prince Anduin or whatever his name is now your leader. She survived that war. How come your king didn't?
Are you talking about Varian?
Yeah.
It wasn't a war, but he sacrificed himself for the greater good.
Well, here's the thing. I've been saying this entire expansion, I need to see my king. Yeah. I need to see Anduin step up to the plate. I need you to be a fucking man. I need you to grab your balls. I need you to get your sword and let's go kill shit, because that's... As Alliance, and it's the same for Horde. Horde needs a leader. You guys, if Sylvanas is your war chief, you guys need your leader. That is... We need that as players. I need to follow my leader because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a champion. That's my job. So when I seen this whole time, everybody thought this guy was a paladin. Turns out he's definitely not a paladin, and that mass res was pretty epic. But I got to see my leader. I saw a side of him that said, okay, you might not be a pansy. Maybe there is your dad in you, and maybe I could follow you, and maybe we could kill some shit together. Like, I'll fight beside you. I'll draw my sword. Like, you got my staff. We good. And that's what I loved about it. And I was emotional. Like,
I did look over at you guys.
So Anduin's got your staff. Okay. Anyways, no, he's not a priest and he's not a paladin. He's a priest, but he's got paladin classifications now because, one, he's got the armor and the sword. But because he's a special person, he's not classified as anything, really. He's like a battle priest instead of a paladin. It's really weird.
That is cool though.
But no, it wasn't a mass res. It's more of a Hollywood Sanctuary or a Power Word barrier. A mix of both because it was a like a refresher heal, not a mass res.
I obviously joked about taking off on the Alliance and going to the Horde, but I looked at you guys when Anduin had that moment, and because like Belle said, she's been waiting, and you guys have been waiting forever. So
Yeah.
I asked, why are we hearing about the complaints? Because like I've never been this excited for an expansion ever. Like this expansion has me right on like pins and needles. I want more. I can't wait to kill Alliance.
Yeah, with
Well, and no, and I want to make sure that while the Horde and Alliance thing is, it's all in good fun, guys. I don't hate Horde, like it's all in good fun, but I think
no, I've heard you.
I've heard you too, but
I don't really. I plan on playing Horde.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you guys why. Most of you already know. If you guys know why I would play Horde, before I even said it, I want you to comment right here. Stop what you're doing. Comment right here on this timestamp and tell me why you know Belle will play Horde. Those of you that truly know me will know why I plan on playing Horde. Now I want to see if you two know me. Why do
it's funny?
Why do I plan on playing Horde? How?
So I didn't know, and you said at BlizzCon, but I didn't click in. And is it because the race from the most beautiful place in the world?
You do know me. You do.
But I didn't when you were saying it there. It just clicked in, and that's why I watched the show.
Hashtag not fans favorite.
Hashtag fan favorite. Hashtag Nightborn. I'm gonna do some Horde shit because I'm trying to be Nightborn. I need to be about that Nightborn life.
Belle, you know what will be not hashtag fan favorite? All these Alliance listeners hearing you're gonna play Horde.
By the way, Nightborn can't be druid, so you get to level different.
I have a warlock. I have a max level warlock. She's a troll though, and I would much rather be a Nightborn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have
That's cool.
She's guild master of the Horde guild. I'm ready. Like,
I can't believe it took me a whole week to click in while you were so hyped.
Oh
to play
yeah.
Horde.
And also I want to see the Horde story perspective. I think when they separate things like that, it's important that you experience both stories in that perspective. Because I want to see from that standpoint of Horde and Alliance. Like, what is Horde going through that makes them so angry? Right now, which I'll wait till later when we talk about that, but we've got Lordaeron. What's the other place? I can't say it right. Teldrassil? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Teldrassil. Yeah.
Teldrassil. I can never say it right. I always say everything but. I even called it booby tassel once. Like, I literally cannot say it. There's been art that's surfaced. They're trying to theory craft on who burned who down first. Like, who attacked who first.
We're gonna burn this month.
We don't really know who made the first shot. Was it Alliance? Was it Horde? We don't really know, but we know that these zones are battling each other. Or somebody, the pandas came along and were like, fuck all of you guys. We're going to burn both your shits down and watch you guys fight it out. Because that's what I would do if I was a panda.
There's fucking Nomi.
Right.
Right, I saw pictures of Nomi on the internet.
So the goal for both factions is going to be to find allies on their side, which is what enters in the allied races, which, guys, it's sub-races. They're just calling them allied races because, God forbid, we be right about something. We were right about sub-races.
It's smarter from the call them allied races because they can bring in literally anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like the way that you think there, Rem. I never would have thought about that from a technical standpoint. That's why you're here, because you are SMRT.
And he's the feather-haired lore master.
We're getting 6 additional character slots.
What?
Yeah.
Did you miss that, Gemma?
Yeah, I missed a lot.
Somebody didn't go to the deep dive.
No, I didn't. Maybe I was there.
Maybe it was Q&A. I saw it. One of those panels. Might have been.
That's cool.
No, it was deep dive.
Was it deep dive? Yeah, so we're going to get 6 additional character slots for a server.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That way you don't got to...
Theo's going to have 6 more warlocks.
I know. He's going to be every version of warlock you could possibly be with that, which is good. Upright or straight back trolls and orcs, upright orcs, which... I questioned this to Rem the other day. I thought, well, isn't part of the fantasy being that the troll's hunched over and the, you know, whatever, isn't that part of the fantasy? But apparently there are some races that are straight back upright.
I didn't know that too.
Their back is erect.
Right. I thought that they were supposed to be hunched over as a nature. So I thought, why would people complain about that? That's part of who they are. But apparently there are, Rem's saying that there are races where they are, you know.
Yeah, so some of the OG orcs, like the Makar and the Machnathal, mixed with ogres, but they should be having straight backs and stuff like that. Yeah.
What about, and you said trolls, right? There are races of trolls.
Oh yeah, the Zandalari trolls are known for their uprightiness. I guess you'd
Upright.
I'm gonna use different words for the straight back all day.
I kept saying uptight, and I meant upright when I was conversating with it in chat with somebody earlier, and I kept saying uptight, and I'm like, just kidding. Siri keeps changing upright to uptight. It's kind of a little embarrassing.
Yeah, no, the orcs hunch actually comes from them being in the internment camps during after the first failed horde. So.
What are you excited to play, Ram?
Huh?
Sorry to cut you off. What are you excited to play out of those sub races?
I was about to ask. Thank you for telling. Well, we haven't even given the sub races yet.
Oh, my fault.
Well, that's okay. That's a good time. Let's give them.
Let's go over them.
The sub races. So right now there's only 6. They did say there's more on the way. So we're good there, guys. I'm sure we'll probably see and this even goes to them being able to add as we continue through things. Yeah. So even after expansion.
There could be like a little tiny patch where it's like, oh, hey, there's this cluster of people that we can...
Where we had to go on a quest to recruit them because we needed, whatever.
It could be like a Timeless Isle, but with this scenario.
Yeah, I was just going to say they could make an island and put it anywhere.
Right. Alliance is going to be Void Elves, Lightforged Draenei, and Dark Iron Dwarves. For Horde, it's going to be Nightborn, High Mountain Taurens, and Zandalari Trolls, which, if you're a Zandalari Troll Druid, you have Raptor form.
What?
Yeah.
That's pretty badass, yeah.
Dang.
Isn't that amazing? That's what I'm saying. It's going to be impossible for people to not multi-faction. I probably won't do the Lightforged Draenei, but I do want to do a Dark Iron Dwarf, and obviously I want to do a Void Elf because nothing says Warlock like weird purple shit. That just feels Warlocky to me. What would you... So now, Jimma, you can ask Rem.
Rem, out of all the sub races, what are you excited to play?
The Void Elves.
Nice. My initial reaction was the Canadian Taurens. I love those new movies. But I've never really liked, and I might get some hate for this on the Horde side, I've never really played or liked trolls to play. I don't mind that they're the homies and they're on the raid team, but I want to try the Zandalari trolls or whatever.
They're my favorite tribe or race of trolls. Zandalari are the OG ones. Well, all of them are OG, but they're the true.
Yeah. And Belle said she's going to do Warlock. Do you care what class you're going to play, or do you?
I'm going to stick with my Shadow Priest.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to do the High Mountain Torn, it'd probably be Shaman. For the Lightforged Draenei, obviously Paladin. What bugs me about Lightforged Draenei is I don't know what they're going to be doing about Shadow Priest, because Priest you have Disc, Holy, Shadow, and they can be Priest. And because they are infused with the light of the Naru, it's lore conflicting for them to be able to be Shadow Priest, at all. More so than an undead Disc Priest or an undead Holy Priest.
I remember
yeah, no, yeah. The only one I'm not liking is the Dark Iron Dwarves.
Why?
I would have rather had Wildhammer Dwarves.
Oh yeah, you were saying that. That's right. What's obviously they wouldn't look so charcoaly, but what would be the difference of?
So they're a lot more fairer skinned. They have tattoos and the more mohawks and wild kind of hair.
Oh, they're biker dwarves.
The Griffin Riders and Airy Peak. They're Wildhammers. They're the reason why shamans could be shamans, or the reason why dwarves could be shamans was because the Wildhammer, or very.
That's why people watch the show,
right?
But fuck Dark Iron Dwarves, okay?
Oh.
Well, those are the same Dark Iron Dwarves from Ulduar, right?
No.
Didn't we fight? We had to fight 100 of them to get the meta for the.
That's not a Dark Iron Dwarf.
Oh, it's not. Oh.
No, those are. I can't remember the name of them, but they were creations.
But they look dark and iron.
There's so many things, Belle. Just even the classes. I don't know. Everything he just said, and the amount, like you said, the possibilities seem endless with what they could bring out.
Well, the reason why they bring Dark Iron is because Moria. They want to make her relevant again.
Well, and I didn't understand the Nightborn being Horde, and then Rem hit me with some stuff that we went through that I should have known in Suramar that would have said it would be Horde.
So with the Suramar peoples, the Nightborn, you have Liadrin and another Blood Elf is speaking to them, saying, "Yeah, we understand your hunger, but your need for magic to survive." Whereas, Tyrande was straight up like, "Screw you guys. We're not going to give you the benefit. We're not going to give you a second chance." And you also see a direct presence of Blood Elves to Night Elves during the Suramar for the Nightwell.
Mhm.
You see a lot more presence of the Blood Elves than the Night Elves, because Night Elves are there because they have to be. The Blood Elves are there to help their people. Tyrande is very, very much on the bitchy side on this one. And Liadrin stood up and was there for their people, so Nightborn are fully going to be with the Blood Elves.
Is Belar Tiandra?
What?
No,
Am I?
I don't know.
No.
No, silly.
Tyrande is majestic. Belle is.
She's not majestic.
I'm
I felt like she.
as fuck. I'm like a
I was gonna
unicorn
say.
and a pony at the same time.
Your
isn't
slutmog
isn't that the same? Isn't a unicorn and a pony the same?
Oh, that was so fun.
Okay. Where were we?
We just finished off
increase
sub-races.
the default backpack size of 16, so your main bag is 16. In a future patch, if you have your authenticator, which everybody should,
I don't. I'm going to get one.
Authenticator?
it gets increased. You can have the authenticator on your phone. There's no excuse for not having the authenticator.
What's an authenticator, Belle?
So for those of you who are really new and don't know what an authenticator is, let me find, hold on, I have show and tell. So you can either buy the authenticator, which is really nice because if you change phones, you don't have to worry about messing that up. There's his version. Then I have this version of the authenticator that basically goes right to my phone whenever you log into a Blizzard service that's not normally logged into, like if you swap computers, whatevs. Click that, and it is basically two-factor authentication for your account to make sure that your account doesn't get hacked, because usually people without authenticators get hacked.
Wow, guys, that sounds really easy. I'm going to get mine right after the show.
Yeah, and in a future patch, you'll get an increase in... It's probably going to be something lame like 4, so it'll increase from 16 to 20, because that's just the way Blizzard is. They get us excited about big stuff, and then it's like super tiny. But hey, who will read a complaint for free, right?
It's like everyone's blind dates, right?
Well, now with the authenticator on your phone, it's cloud-based now. So I don't know what that means for Android. I'm assuming it's the same. But
it's
for
not
like
a cloud, it's someone else's computer.
It's iCloud-based for iPhone. So where before I had to take a picture of the serial number that was attached to it to reattach it to the new device, now it just does it through the iCloud. So I'm assuming it's comparable for Google Play or whatever backup Android users use. I'm sure it's the exact same.
Well, my question about that is, because all they said is authenticator, but they also have the SMS Protect. So you have
the SMS Protect, I never get those text messages. Like,
oh well, when I'm away from the computer and I have to log in, that's what I use.
I never get a text message to SMS my protection.
You might need to check your notification settings.
I should probably check to make sure I have that. The legendary system will not be moving forward. Can I get a motherfucking amen? Can I get an amen? Guys, we went crazy with legendaries. We were legendary insane. We were like crack. Legendaries were like crack. We were so into legendaries. And then the first time someone gets benched because they don't have their best in slot, we were not into legendaries anymore. I love, once again, that they admit mistakes and they just say, this was a great idea for one expansion, but maybe we shouldn't make the entire expansion be about proccing legendaries. That should not be...
Yeah.
Let's make them legendary again, guys, where they're legitimately hard to get and not given out to every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Yeah, I don't remember who said it, but I think it was Lore or someone else. They were like, Asmongold, I think... But it's better. You don't want to have to obtain a legendary to get into the raid. You want to do the raid to get a legendary.
Yeah,
right.
I think it was him actually, Asmongold.
Right, which is good, and I agree with that. Mm-hmm. I agree. Something that is RNG based like that, I think, was weighed too heavily on raiders and PvE content in general, and I think it was just abundantly unfair. But I agree. I think it's good that they took a step back. It was fun, guys. Legendaries are fun. I like having them.
Oh yeah, no.
But
Who was the last cast member to get one out of all?
I think it might have been Rem.
No, it was you, dog. Because remember, I got mine like 6 days before you got yours, and you're like, I hate you, Jim,
I'm
but you
pretty
don't
sure
even play.
I thought it was Rem on his priest. No?
Oh, maybe he wasn't on the show then.
Ago.
It might have
Maybe.
been. Maybe it was pre.
And
we were
now
on the
I've got
show
them on
too.
almost all characters except the mage. I can't
Damn.
seem to get it to drop on the mage. Flying will be similar to how it was in Legion, guys, so stop asking.
If we fine with that. Yeah.
Really?
Stop
works.
asking. We're going to
Perfect.
have to earn it just like, we're going to earn maybe they'll call it Azeroth flying because you can't really call it Battle for Azeroth flying. Maybe they'll call it Azeroth flying.
Island flying.
Yeah, we'll call it South Seas flying or Plunder flying or whatever.
Well, we won't need to fly when we get our boats, okay?
Yeah, boats, guys. We're on a boat.
Naval
Okay,
ships in yard.
Jeremy Fiesel slipped, and when he was talking,
Yeah, he did say boat after they had said we're not going to be on a boat. That's
we're not
weird.
gonna they said we're not getting boats, and then he's like, "Oh, you're gonna need to fill the whole of your ship."
Yeah, we are on to you.
Well, they even said in the thing like
Tinfoil hat, bro. I want my boats and hose.
I just
want a boat and a respectable lady.
I want a boat. I want to be on a boat, and I want a Buccaneers hat, and I want the ship to know that I'm their captain. Like I want you to
Buccaneers hat.
swab the deck, mateys. You know what I'm saying? Level cap, obviously 120. For those of you who had a chance to watch streamers do demos at BlizzCon, we were not part of those demo streamers because we don't got it in with Blizzard like that, and that's okay. We don't need the in with Blizzard. You notice the stat squish. Item level for the dungeon that we demoed as a team. Guys, we did a 5-man.
Right?
We did
I
a
was just
5-man
going to say
together.
they probably didn't ask us
Talked
to
about it.
demo. Yeah, I was going to say they probably didn't ask us to demo anything because of how well we did with that dungeon.
Or because I was low-key, like, streaming the demo live on my Facebook because
Yeah,
I didn't
you
know
were.
if I was allowed or not. But the item level was 185 and the numbers were small. Now, I know we had a bad reaction to this when they did the stat squish. When did they do that, Draenor? I know we
Mr.
we
Turner.
reacted to that. Crazy. I'm happy to see this because I like the lower numbers because it feels... Right now, it feels like the numbers are a bit out of control. We have 1,000 item level for stuff. Guys, come on. That's too much. It's
Yeah.
too... Once you're into 4 numbers, I can't... I know we get 210 characters on Twitter now, but still. That's like too much for me. I'm trying really hard not to sneeze. When
Just let it out.
When the expansion goes live, we'll be able to boost to 110.
Interesting. Ooh, I hope we get a free boost to 110 for buying the expansion.
You do.
I'm sure.
I wasted my
It's in there. Yeah.
I wasted my level 100 one. But look at me now. You're looking at your level 90 boost, the monk in front of your face. The moment I created that monk, I knew I was going to be on a podcast.
Better or for worse.
Right?
So
It's
let's
like-
talk about the artifact. We're not going to be
Let's.
having an artifact weapon, which I think is amazing. This is great.
I'm down.
We are going to have a necklace, which there's lore behind the necklace, so we'll talk about that another time. It's the Heart of the Azeroth necklace, and it's basically, we're going to carry it through the expansion. What I love about this is the balance. I don't think it's going to make or break. It's not going to make or break how far advanced are you into this for your progression on raiding or mythic dungeoning. I think this is going to be to go along with it, but I don't think their main intention is for this to be the focal point of what we're doing. I hope not, because I don't want to do this shit again. I don't want to do this crap again.
What do you mean? I think it is though. Maybe I misunderstood.
The way that they have it with the traits will randomly awaken something within a gear. So the way that the heart of the Azeroth necklace is going to work is we're going to empower it with Azerite, which basically Azerite is just like artifact power, but it feels less grindy to me. While you're leveling up your necklace, you'll awaken latent properties for certain pieces of gear. So maybe a headpiece will have some type of something that unlocking that will add to it. I don't really see this being make or break. I hope not, because I hope we learned a lesson with grindy and being able to swap.
Well, you're
going to
be grinding, just so you know. You're going to be able to swap to alts, but you're going to be grinding.
I think you should be grindy with your gear. You should be grindy with your weapon. You should be grindy for your best in slot. I agree with all of those things. I don't think that it should be difficult to swap to an alt where you have to install later in the expansion a catch-up mechanic because you now have to catch up your alts to where your main is. I think they need to find an in-between, and I think that this necklace... I think the necklace might be a good in-between where it's good if you advance, but I don't think it's going to be super difficult for you to do that. The Azerites found in nodes, chests, creatures, quest givers, world quests, powerful bosses, dungeons, and raids. Very similar to the artifact power. Excited to see what this looks like in beta before we really can form an opinion on good balance of grind versus it's not. I don't want it to be an afterthought. I want you to, like the ring. The ring to me was great because it wasn't super grindy, but it was enough grind to where you had to work for it. Same with the back piece.
Rem and I are excited to see your beta videos.
I can't wait. I messaged my guy. I messaged my guy after the announcement. I was like, "Hey, can you double check that I'm on beta list? I just need to make sure that I get in the first. I need to be in the first wave of beta because I need to get those videos out."
Good.
So the necklace will there's lore behind that. I will want Rem to cover that lore. So
you better.
Probably on another episode we'll cover that because there is a purpose for the necklace, and I enjoyed the storytelling that happened when it came to that, and so I'd like Rem to explain that in a way that only Rem can. So we'll do that on a future show. It'll be a good segment for him to learn more about that. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to not have an artifact weapon. I'm ready to. We've talked about that already. Where I'm ready to find my specific weapon that I want, my best in slot, or whatever, where I actually have to raid to get my weapon, because getting your weapon is my favorite thing of raiding, is when you finally get that drop, like Gaze of Arrogance, the Whispering Eye. When you finally get that weapon drop, that's your perfect stat combo, and you have to keep running to get it.
I do miss finally getting that slightly more powerful DPS weapon in PvP, like that week when you waited the 5 to 7 weeks to get it, and then you go into the battleground to hurt people with your more powerful weapon.
Yeah, it feels it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
The only thing I'm sad about is I'm locked into one-handed and a offhand because I've got the mage tower appearance. I can't just not use it.
Oh.
Well, I guess you're gonna have to figure that out amongst your stats. There's going to be 2 new continents and 6 zones. So the 2 new continents. Jeez, guys, I'm struggling to human.
You're incontinent.
The 2 new continents are, all this is faction specific, which I love. We needed that faction specific. I don't want to see Horde in my area. If you're in my area, I'm flagging myself for PvP because guess what? That's going to be a thing. Like, it's already a thing now. But we'll talk about that later in the big PvP news.
So you didn't hear what they said then?
I don't want to hear your shit right now.
Let's let them have the floor. Are we sure we don't want to hear them? No? Maybe?
Well, when we complete Cool Terrace, we're going to go to Zandalar.
Well, I knew that, but there's still faction-specific zones. Like, there's going to be... It's like it was in previous expansions where...
the hub itself. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Yes, which is what I wanted. I don't want to be mixed all up in your business, Hordes. I'm trying to do my thing.
Kicked out of the area anyway, fuckers.
Because I always fly over to the right side when I go off the damn Krausis Landing, and I get booted right out of there. But I want to see only Alliance. Or if I'm Horde side, I want to see only Horde, similar to Stormwind and Orgrimmar. I think we should get back to that. Dalaran is great, and I love it. But I want to see no little fucking orange.
Well, I mean, that's what we're supposed to get in Draenor. We're supposed to get Kerabor Temple, where what back temple was beforehand. The Horde was supposed to get some shithole in.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that's not what happened.
But I'm just saying that's what was supposed to happen. I'm hoping they stick with it.
So you'll level in your faction zone. Then I'm sure once we're maxed out, there'll be some cross factionation. I'm going to call it vaccination. So Cool Terrace is going to be Alliance, obvi, because Jaina, the Proudmoors, hashtag Jaina's mom, and Rem was like, what? His face when they said Catherine Proudmoore, he was like, wait,
who's that?
What? I love seeing moments where even Rem can be shocked. So that was good for me. We'll learn later, apparently. I'm sure Rem will tell us later why that's such a shocking factor.
What did the guy say too? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He goes, said her mother's name and goes, and she's not a dreadlord.
Oh, and it's confirmed that she's not a dreadlord.
That was good.
Let's see. So Kulteris is ancient human kingdom. I wrote King Don. That's awesome.
King Dong.
Right.
It's a powerful nautical empire ruled by 4 houses, comprised of 3 main territories, built a really big navy that the Alliance wants. Well, it's kind of reminiscent of the Spanish Armada, right? So I feel like Kulteris could in fact be the Spanish Armada. England wanted to marry the Spanish because they wanted the Spanish Navy, because then the Spanish Navy was the largest in the world during that time period. Am I accurate there, Rem?
The Spanish Armada ain't got shit, Uncle Terrace.
Well, but I'm saying like everybody wanted to be friends with the Spaniards back then because
same concept. Yeah, they are very
whoever controls the sea controls the world. It just is what it is. It's your imports, it's your exports. The sea. If you control the sea, you're winning, man.
Well, I mean, during the first wars on Azeroth with the Horde was the pivotal moments was when the Horde actually built the navy. So right. That's very important. Yeah.
What are the 4 houses?
The Proudmoors, obviously. The Rayquest. I'm fucking the name of Raycrest. Wow. And 2 other ones that I don't remember the names of.
I thought you were for sure gonna know the names right away.
No, I only know the 2. I only know the ones that were important.
I'm not going to list off the zones because I realized I'm going to be doing a video on Monday that's going to do all this stuff, so I'm not going to really list off all that stuff.
You're going to be busy the next couple
Yeah,
weeks.
I got a lot of stuff going out, but I'm going to do a very straight to the point, here's everything we know outlined in an easy to follow video. There's so much stuff out there that was grabbed from these panels that I'm going to try to condense it all into one video. I'm doing that on Monday. Should be released Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, not sure. And then Zandalar obviously is Horde side. The Ancient Troll Empire, powerful naval forces that surpasses Kulteris. So Zandalar is even better?
Supposedly, yeah. No, the patrols are really good at maritime.
Interesting. The continent is in turmoil. Before they join the Horde, we need to restore their order, comprised of 3 zones. So they're in disarray, right, Meow?
Meow. Yeah, no, they got a civil war going on. Zool, a prophet, is causing problems, I believe.
Dang. That's not good. Right.
Well, but why is there a civil war?
Well, part of the island is sinking, and they think Rosticon isn't a fit leader.
Oh.
Well, I mean...
By the way, I mean, how could you not bow down to a leader called a Rosticon? Like, come on.
Sounds like he'd smoke a lot of...
I mean... You're not wrong.
I wish we could be at Civil War. Do you guys want to fight?
Nope.
No? All right.
Do you?
No, not today. I'm struggling just speaking.
Not today.
I was thinking of texting my husband to see if he'd bring me hot tea. I have to keep clearing my throat because it gets like... We're going to make it.
I had chai tea for the first time at
Chai
Blizzcon.
tea is weird if you have milk in it. I don't really like the milk.
Chai tea latte is delicious.
I don't really like the milk.
Why would you
put milk?
I don't know. Some people put like soy milk.
Why would you put milk?
Milk? There's going to be 10 new dungeons and however many raids. I don't think that was disclosed. We talked about the allied races. Plunder Uncharted Islands. Guys, Plunder Islands. This is the pirates, right?
Plunder Islands, yeah.
Yeah, we plunder in, guys.
Islands.
Dominant war fronts. Large-scale conflict on the home front. Where I think we're in each other's battle zones, right? Like Alliance makes kind of like a... We're calling it a war front, but it's kind of like a garrison. Right?
It'll work like a hub, I think.
Like a hub in enemy territory?
Like yeah, so, because he was saying Arathi Highlands is where the battle's going to really start for us.
Uh-huh.
And so we're going to be building up Stormguard, and that was one of the OG human cities. So
and it's fantasy anchored in Warcraft 3 and RTS roots, which is building, compiling resources to build, getting the stuff we do in Clash of Clans and all that other weird stuff, which I like, going to be integrated in game.
PvE though too. keep that in mind as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Because people say Warfronts, oh, where's the PvP?
Well, it's in island expeditions. We're going to explore different islands across the Great Sea.
Yeah.
These are going to be varied and dynamic. So what that means for those of us who had to Google varied and dynamic because I didn't understand what that meant. I understand what it means, but I didn't understand what they were talking about.
Your personalities.
Basically, it changes every time. And they did this demo where they talked about the first time you go to the specific island or whatever, there's this... He did like a clam and a starfish, and I'm so immature. You can't say clam in front of me and me be any kind of fucking mature.
You don't want to go to Oyster Reach?
And he kept saying oyster reef, and all I kept thinking is when Rem does that moister than an oyster.
Yeah, he
like
did
his
that.
Little
I
thing.
heard him say that.
So some things I'm not mature about, and I openly admit my immaturity, and that's okay. But like you'll log in and do the thing, and then it's it's 3-man co-op. Essentially scenarios, but they're different every time. Sometimes you log in, it'll be dusk, and then it'll it's progressive, so you should never get the same one twice, ? I think that's pretty I think he even said because it's progressive, when you do the first one it's morning, you do the second one it's dusk, and there'll be different things there, and then the third one there'll be different things there.
They make sure there's a lot of replayability instead of just
yes, that's the word I was looking for, replayability. And it can also be PvP. So you don't have to just necessarily lock yourself into PvE where you're killing mobs, but you could also kill other players. Mm-hmm. The other opposing, whatever. I don't really know because I don't think I saw, they didn't show us.
And he just said there's going to be normal, heroic, mythic, and then PvP.
Right, which is good, where you could PvP, and instead of the final objective being like, or maybe you're battling it out with other people for these things you have to kill in these resources that you're gathering.
You take the objective and they can take it back from you.
I can't wait to see how that looks.
You're not fighting them directly, you're fighting each other for the objective.
Which is what PvPers and PvEers want, is the option to be able to have both integrated at their whim if they want. And I think that that's really good that the PvE is including PvP there, because it gives more options and more abilities, because not everybody that PvPs likes to do PvE stuff. This expansion, we pretty much forced people to do it. We were like, oh, you have to have this artifact weapon, we're making you do all this PvE shit, you have no choice.
Yeah, a lot of IM PvPers had to do raids and all that to get the 930s,
Sea-Doo's been PvEing all week. I'm like, what? This guy's doing frickin' mythic dungeons. I didn't even know he even knew how to PvE. I was very impressed, actually. So the island expeditions, PvP updates. We didn't get a whole lot of updates yet. The reason being, and I'm going to tell you why. PvP will always be the last thing they tell you about, and here's why. Because the PvP community is fucking insane. They will always be the last one because they really want to fine-tune what they're doing. They want to make sure that what they're giving to people isn't something that's going to make people have full-on fucking meltdowns. When it comes to the esports scene and what they're trying to do for esports, they really have to fix what's wrong with PvP. They really have to bring additional value, because there isn't any value right now. We're missing a lot of that value from a PvP perspective. No matter who wants to agree with me or not, you don't have to, but the value is missing there. In part of that, here's what we do know. They're going to be removing the PvE, PvP server divisions, which to me is amazing. Might make some of you Tichondrius guys mad, and I hope that it doesn't. But for World PvP,
sorry.
For World PvP, we'll be allowed to individually decide if we want a World PvP with a toggle. Boom, I want a World PvP today. Or maybe I want to do a little questing without being bothered, and I don't want a World PvP. Yeah. Because it's a lot different than flagging yourself. Flagging yourself isn't that fun on a PvE server. The reason it's not that fun on a PvE server is because nobody gives a fuck that you're flagged. But if I have the ability to be able to make it World PvP wherever I'm at by a simple me flipping it on, yeah, I'm in. Oh, wait, you undercut me in the auction house? Oh, yeah, I'm killing your shit. Like, I'm going to find you, and we are going to fight it out because that's what I like. But I'm excited for that element for myself because I don't mess with PvP servers because of that reason. I want to play when I want to not be bothered. I don't want to have to deal with that.
But on the note with them removing the roles of the servers, I'm going to tinfoil hat really quick, and it allows them to merge a lot more servers together.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's a good point too.
And I thought about that when he said that. I thought, well, this lifts that restriction, I think, a lot there with them being able to merge stuff.
Combined a lot more servers to make some of these servers higher populated.
And I think there was a time when we needed all these different servers, but I think that time has passed. And I think
the role-playing community is not as large, obviously.
Right. Unless you're
on
where's the like I'm drawing a Moonguard.
Yeah, Moonguard, Romer's Accord, and Emerald Dream, and some other one.
That are the largest, more known ones.
Yeah.
Like we're on an RP server, but it's really just a normal server now.
I haven't seen any real RP.
There's sometimes it happens, but it's pretty rare. 2 new arenas and a battleground is all that we've heard of so far. I'd like to see, I hope we see maybe an extra battleground in there. I'd like to see them just, they have a lot of different things that they could do for battlegrounds. There's the sky's the limit. Quit being fucking lazy, guys, and give us what we need. Like, the sky's the limit. You could easily bring in a couple more battlegrounds. And how about we live in a world where it's not the same battleground every time you queue? Like, if we could mix it up a little bit, because we've been through this, give us a couple battlegrounds. Use Draenor for inspiration. Use Legion for inspiration.
Give us another Tolbrad or Ashran. I know we don't want it like Ashran, but give us a zone like that.
I'd like to see another AV, right? Like another.
Like you want to see a big. Yeah,
I just want them to add some additional things.
What if they do the Undercity Lordaeron thing as a?
That would be pretty amazing.
Capture the flat or capture the city kind of thing.
Yeah, that's it. That would be amazing. I would love to just see, and I'm hoping that it isn't just the one battleground. I'm going to need them to not be cheap on me with the PvP. We got a new guy doing PvP now. Holinka's off doing other things, and that's great for him. I'm going to need you guys to not be lazy on PvP. I need to see more. But I'm sure there's a ton more. Guys, what we found out at BlizzCon didn't even scratch the surface, I'm sure, of what's going to happen. Like, they just gave us little tidbits to keep us interested, which I think is okay.
But I instantly thought PvP when they drew up that whole Alliance versus Horde thing. Obviously, I thought like this is the perfect expansion to just make PvP great again, as Bell would say.
But no, so I have an idea if when they're fleshing out the system that they're running for the new islands, how it's more organic in replayability, and it not only rotates, but how we said they make a story and then it fills the holes up with random shit in there. They could do the same thing with the battleground. Have a battleground so it could be like 3 different objectives, and it like randomizes stuff like that. So it's not like, oh, capture the flag again. It's like a same map but different objectives in different spots and stuff like that. Maybe.
Well, and I think that with the PvP brawls, I think they'll take some ideas from there and implement them in a permanent standpoint. I do think that a lot of things that Blizzard does is a testing ground, and I think that the brawls were likely part of that testing ground.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
I'd like to see if we're going to see PvP brawls in an esports situation. I would love to see PvP brawls in esports. Like Temple of Hotmogu, how fun would that be in an esports setting? Something where it's not so monotonous, where you know if you've got a druid, rogue, whatever, that you have to counter with this, and this on this map. Like, I would love to see just some off-the-wall stuff. That's what I should have told Ian. I should have mentioned. I didn't say anything about PvP because my focus was on guild shit, because it's what got
when
ignored.
You get a chance to finally meet with someone on that level, you don't want to give them every single idea.
You don't want to be like, I'm going to help you fix everything, and then you insult them because they think you know better.
Boy, are you happy to have seen me. I got some stuff to tell.
That he'll never remember the next day because they're trying to drink the same as we are for BlizzCon.
Well, and think of how many other people are trying to talk to all of them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's why I don't bug him. I say thank you. Boom, done.
I thanked him. I told him he did. We'll talk about that during my segment. Last thing on my list, I'm sure that I missed stuff with the expansion. Guys, I'm sure that you already know. For those of you who didn't, I'm glad that we got to be the ones that told you. I will make sure I grab all the tidbits that we hear, all the stuff that Wowhead did a lot of coverage. I haven't had a chance. They did a lot of Q&As with their press passes that I did not get this year, but it's cool. I'm not even bitter about it. Not even in the slightest. The reason I'm not bitter about it is because then I would have had to do work, and I got to just be drunk all week, so I'm okay with that. But there's a lot of things that I probably missed.
And if we did miss anything, put it in the comments. Let us know, or let us know what you're excited mostly about the expansion,
and
please.
You just round it out. Tell me what you are most excited for that you've heard so far with the expansion. Take it with a grain of salt, you know. I don't want to hear any negative things, guys. I don't want to see no complaints. We're going to make this a happy day.
I do. I want to know.
No, I don't want, not this show. This show, I don't want any negative. I want to see what you're happy about. Next show, we'll do what you dislike.
Fair.
Just happy. Just one show of happy.
For one show. Look at you.
Yeah, just one show happy, and then the rest we can just complain.
Thank you for that.
For 7.3.5, which we should be seeing on the PTR soon, all pre-Legion zones will scale up to a certain level. Here's how the plan is. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys.
You're good.
Starting zones 0 to 10. Classic zones 10 to 60. Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King 60 to 80. Cataclysm, Miss 80 to 90. This is all pre-Legion, right? Or pre-Draenor. It didn't matter in Draenor. Cool. Did it do the same thing in Draenor?
No.
No, this was the first expansion. They introduced the...
No, but okay. So basically, how we're doing it now is going to be how it is for all the other zones. Hi, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing that you don't have to worry about out-leveling a map.
Yeah, fuck Hellfire. I can skip it now.
Right. So this is also applied to dungeon rewards, which is pretty nice. I think this is really going to make or break people having the ability to be able to level alts without complaint when it comes to stuff like that. Like right now I have a couple lobies that I'm just like, I don't really want to go through all that right now. But then again, I think maybe I really do. But with 7.3.5, that's going to be the time where I'm going to level the rest of the ones that I don't have maxed out.
This is low-key a godsend for me, because that's usually why I get annoyed leveling alts, because with the heirlooms, I skip zones and I do a dungeon and I don't know where the fuck I am at the moment.
You have no starting place. Okay, this way, and it's nice now because we can do, we can do dungeons while we're leveling in Legion and still be right back where we started and get the same amount of XP. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I think good things.
We talked about that on the show, actually. Like, I don't know if it was a year or less than a year ago.
I originally was afraid for it. Remember, I said, ooh, that kind of scares me if they would do that. I'm a little afraid.
Was it because you didn't want them to take away from what they were doing, or how it would end up?
I didn't want them to take away from new people leveling.
I see.
This actually improves it, in my opinion.
I think,
right.
I agree. I do think that could improve it for new players. But I was afraid that it was going to... I didn't want it to ruin their experience of going from zone to zone and knowing that if you don't finish that quest, you're fucked. You have to finish your quest chain if you want to go to the next zone, because you're not going to get, you don't know how you're going to get there unless you have somebody on a 2-person mount that's going to take you up and over the mountain. If you don't, sometimes like Fiona's caravan where you have to take the caravan. If you don't take that caravan, you're hightailing it all the way up there on your own. But in thinking about it in the way that they approached it, I think it's a good thing.
Very much so. I got a chance to speak to Stone real quick too, like after the announcement, and I didn't even think of the Iron Man challenge. I'm just like, did you like what you heard? And he's like, dude, he brought up the Iron Man challenge. I'm like, oh, how does that affect everything? And he's like, he said what Rem just said. He goes, fuck Hellfire. So he said, no, it's good.
It hurts that because instead of getting like a level or two above that area, it's always going to be right where you are at.
I feel like it could be easier in the sense, like you could just, if you really wanted to go slow and steady, you could just kill mobs around your level. Like I feel like there'll be new zones or zones that will benefit you from just like not doing as much questing and maybe doing it a little more cheaper. But he seemed pretty excited, and I can't wait to level. Obviously, I hate leveling, and I know you do, Bell, for the most part. With the sub races and the new leveling system, it's gonna be epic. So good.
It's a time to add to your arsenal of things that you already know and play. And I think that it's part of how you stay in love with the game is to have options and to be able to swap over to something new when you need a different change of pace. My husband was telling me he's been playing again recently, and he started playing and then he stopped playing. He's like, I know why it's not fun again. It's not fun because I don't have a couple of alts. Like I have just the one. I don't have the other alts maxed out, so I can't swap over and do stuff when I'm done on the one. And I just said, that's valid because I have a lot of alts. And they all have their class halls and they all have their class mounts. Like, I have all the things. But I think that as a human, we need that as a people to have those options to break away from the norm and just have different availabilities.
It's funny. I thought about him last night too, because like when he talks about leveling an alt, everyone goes,
"Why were you
play this?" Like everyone wants him to play as paladin, and he's like, "No, I want to play a druid." And we're like, "Wait, why?" And it's like, just let him enjoy it how he wants to.
I took him on his paladin through an assault that was happening, so I could get him a level, and he just said, "God, I miss playing the paladin."
Good,
and I remember, like, he woke up yesterday and goes, "Is it weird that I woke up dreaming about a transmog?" I said, no, that's what you made me really happy.
I know that would.
I dream of things in game. Like I dream and I think about all day what I want to do when I get on Bertha. Like I have things that I want to do or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I love that he is bad. So I've been carting him around happily with a smile. I've been taking him around.
I know you would.
Trying to get his flying so that he can do that on his own. But I've been driving Miss Daisy for 2 days. I've just been doing his stuff, which I don't mind. I'll continue to do it as long as he's willing. I mean,
right. I think it's the cutest thing I've heard all show.
Also, time walking Oldar is coming in patch 7.3.5. So
this is news to me. Oh my god.
Is it? Are you being sarcastic?
He
Is
is
this news?
sarcastic.
Oh,
I hate you.
It makes me look like an idiot more too, because like I was legit like, yeah, and he's like,
what they're doing is they're taking the iconic raids from those 2 expansions.
Well, I think we'll see. He said what Warlords. What did they say? Warlords of Draenor in the next one? I don't know. I spent a long time killing what's his name. I'm not really.
I think this is and I've said this on previous shows, like we take for granted how good Blizzard is with just fixing things like the leveling system that we just talked about, and now being able to experience some of the best raids at current level. Like it's just such a good time to be a Warcraft player.
I agree, and that's Rem talked about when you see these developers that you thank them, and he's right. The first thing I said is every year I wanted to meet you, but you always look so busy and I feel bad. Like I feel like a dick coming up to you.
Right.
But I needed you to know that not that this one opinion matters, but I needed you to know that you did a great thing. Legion was amazing. I appreciate your honesty. And he goes, oh, thank you. I said, no, I don't think you understand what I'm telling you. I hate it when developers try to blow smoke up my ass and tell me something's working as intended when I know it's not. I don't need anybody to tell me it's working as intended when I know it's fucking broken. What I love is that you guys admit when it's broken and you fix it. You might not fix it right away. You guys might not even admit it right away. But I love that in your honesty that you validate the way that we feel as players, and I appreciate that. I'm not always going to agree with what you do, but you guys are killing it. I told him, like, your team's literally killing it. And I just told him, as a podcaster, I need you to keep doing what you're doing to keep me relevant. Because if you're not putting out good content, I can't be relevant. So,
right.
And then, of course, I pitched him my guild hall idea. And he said, we've thought about guild halls for a very long time. We don't know how we would keep them relevant. Great. I have ideas on how you can keep them relevant. Here's a list of 15 things on what you could do to make it where we need to use our guild halls every day, so that you keep them relevant. But the reality is, with the social changes that they're making for their BattleNet, they're making it where you can have your guild group in your chat on your BattleNet and it'll go through in-game when you log in-game. I think that's great. I think it's great that you're allowing social communities on your BattleNet similar to Discord and Twitch. I think that's great. However, what you're doing is eliminating the need for a guild in the social element because you're putting it right through BattleNet. They no longer need it in-game. That scares me a little bit. That scares me as a guild master. I worry that you've already took a lot away from my guild. You took any relevancy of being in a guild whatsoever outside of getting that social factor or having that brother-sisterhood. But you guys have slowly kind of killed the reasons guilds are around. So I need them to let people see the value in guilds again and the purpose for having a guild outside of just social. I need you to give me as guild master more tools to be able to help my people. Maybe that means a teleport to a guildie who's trying to kill a rare solo and needs me to do it. Maybe that means a teleport back to the guild hall where I could give them items because they've reached their stack limit in the guild bank. Maybe that means putting professions in the guild hall where everybody goes back and does their professions and you get a bonus on whatever you craft in your guild hall for a profession. You don't have to have a guild to do the profession, but you'll get a bonus if you do. Maybe that means having guild rankings and allowing guild masters the option to be able to have a civil war with another, challenge them to a war where you have 20 of your guildies. It's a 20 versus 20 war game of your top guildies, maybe your officers, and you guys have an all-out brawl. Put it on the guild rankings for who wins the most points with the most kills. Whatever the case may be, then my guild's top 3 of whatever, then make it really cool rewards that are not required for you to have any kind of progression in game because we don't want it to be exclusive to guilds. Then people that don't have guilds will freak out. But give us a reason to have those guilds. Give us a purpose. I don't just want a guild hall to stand around and talk to a guildie because that's fucking dumb, guys. We don't need guild housing just so we can all pour back and stand around and talk to each other. When people are pitching these guild hall ideas, he was very honest and said, we don't have a reason for them outside of people standing around talking to each other. I gave him reasons. I'm sure he won't use any of them, and that's fine. But I at least got the thought process rolling, so maybe him and the creative team can think about, maybe you can give us each expansion a progression for the guild hall like you've done with the class halls. Something that, maybe there's guild-specific missions that give us cool rewards that are not make or break gear-wise, but maybe it's cool rewards that we would like. You know, maybe achievements, just things that we would like. The ability to have different trophies in our guild hall according to what our achievements are, what our level is on our rank. Could be for PvE, could be for PvP, whatever. I just need them to be thinking outside the box as a way to keep guilds in the forefront of people's minds, because at this point there's a lot of people who don't see the need for guilds and aren't in them, in fact.
That was very well put, and actually what someone wrote that today, like, what do you need guild halls for? But like, and I've heard you talk about it before, but that's a very good breakdown of ways they could make a guild hall.
I mean, all they have to really do is start with bringing back perks in some form or another. Like, perks were the best thing for guilds.
I feel like and I told him, I said, I understand. But if you're going to take away, give back. And I just said, I know that guilds are not a focus for you guys. I know that you guys are not focused on guilds, and I understand that, but it hurts my feelings. It hurts my feelings that part of what makes me who I am in game is the fact that I have a guild. It hurts my feelings that you guys just toss it to the side like it's not that serious. I need it to be just as important as all the other elements. But I was happy that I got to voice my opinion, whether or not, I don't imagine he's going to remember that one conversation out of the million that he remembers.
Well, you never know.
But I at least got his mental process thinking of different ways that the guild hall can be relevant, which is good. So I felt good.
Even if your ideas are bad, it helped him.
Hey, not all my ideas were bad, fuckstick. Some of my stuff was good, okay?
Well, I was laughing because I'm like, oh, you're hating on the BattleNet thing a little because it's taking away from the guild.
I was mad about that at first. I was a little like, oh.
Well, and I'm like, this is amazing because it's so good for the players that don't have friends or they need to link up with the players. But I understand your concern, and another reason why I gave you props for what you just said about the guild hall.
You guys are this just in live. Our DJ Grains.
Nice. What's he up to?
The girlfriend is in labor. The water broke.
Oh, is that what that shit?
It is the real deal. I wanted to break that news live. Christian, a.k.a. DJ Grains. We are having a fucking baby, guys, right now. Not
baby
here.
Boy, right?
Yeah, thank God. I told him, thank God you're having a boy. No girls. I just felt like I wanted to share that with you guys.
Nice.
So that was pretty much the news that we have for this week. Lot of information that we'll spend weeks going over. Also, before I forget, to the fuckhead that commented on the show about us being behind in the news. Listen, we're not behind in any news. We get that news the same fucking week, the same as everybody else does. I deleted your comment because you're a prick. How about them fucking apples? Anyway, moving on. The rest of you, I love you all. I did. I deleted his comment. He's never commented on the show before. His comment was very mean. They said another irrelevant group of people, and I thought, really, I don't need you to tell me I'm irrelevant. I already know. I deleted. I removed it and made it where he couldn't comment on any. If you're gonna, nobody needs that kind of negativity in their life, okay, guys? That's like you telling me you don't like tacos. Jimma, let's talk about
tacos. No.
First, I want to say what a great time we had as a cast, as friends, as family, as an organization. By far the best BlizzCon yet. Shout out to those that we met. Drew, Justin, Pascal. The other one, I think his name is Dustin. Daryl.
Maybe.
The third one, I don't remember. You guys are watching and listening and laughing right now, and I know Justin and Pascal are like, wow, she still can't remember his name. Drew, and then was it Enrique? We had a ton, and there was another guy named Mike. I was walking, and he was like, "Hey, you're Belle," and I'm like, "Hey, I am. Do you want to see my ID?"
That's so funny.
We actually met. I think the count is up to about 20 people that we met,
which is much higher than last year. You mean like people who recognize
even the one person when we had one person come up in 2015, but it was so great.
I didn't see Jim Banks' Uruguay fan.
Well, what was great about it is, like, we hung out with these guys. We drank with these guys. They got to see... I don't
We are. I don't know.
how we are, which is
That's good or bad. Yeah.
pretty similar to personalities here. There's
Yeah.
no showmanship here. I'm a little bit more professional here, so they got to see the
Oh,
more
yeah, you are.
like
Some listeners are like, "Wait, what? You're more professional here?"
I know.
He is. Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty similar in nature.
What you see is what you get.
I'm a little fatter in real life because the camera lies, the angles, guys. But it's nice to be able to hang out with people because you don't know that anybody gives a shit about what you do. And then when people recognize what you do, it's like, okay, then people do care. And I love it's important because for us as not as relevant as The Instance or Allcraft or all these other ones that get the notoriety publicly because they stream and because they know people and whatever their hard work, whatever the reasons are.
Right.
We don't do those things. We are word of mouth. We don't really advertise. I don't know how to stream. We don't do these things. So we hope that people care about what we do. And, you know, it's nice when we get to go to BlizzCon and see the fruits of our label and getting to meet people. And we honestly, guys, some of the people that have listened to us, like Eric, who is Tio, some of you I introduced at BlizzCon as my anti-roofie device and my personal security because he's like a giant brick wall. He is huge. And he doesn't drink. He lets us drink. And he's like, he watches out to make sure I don't get roofied or somebody weird doesn't come up and try to make it weird because they see you on a show and they think that they know you personally. So they like imagine that you're giving them googly eyes over the YouTubes. That's happened. I promise I'm not giving any of you googly eyes, guys. But that happens. People imagine that there has been some stalkerish stuff that's happened, some scary things in the past, which is okay. You just take that in stride. But Eric was I'm pretty sure he was our very first show watcher. He's watched since like episode 10.
Really?
Yeah, most people don't know that's where he came from. And he's like one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Like overall of the things. So, some of the greatest people in the world that I've met have been show listeners. So it's good to have that. Those guys, I was calling the one a Guido. He looked like a...
It was his birthday. It was so funny.
He turned 21, but I was calling him every time somebody said, "Hey, where's the guys?" And I was like, "Oh, the Guido," because he looked like a Jersey Shore guy. He looked like Paulie.
He did when he said he was Canadian. I'm like, "You're Canadian?" And it's funny.
I never would have thought he was Canadian.
I wouldn't either unless he.
To be fair, he had a really dark tan. I didn't know Canadians had dark skin, but
we get some sunlight sometimes.
I know. I don't really know geography and where people are from, but. For us as a group, I feel like this was the best BlizzCon we've ever had. Like, I feel like there were so many things that just worked. DitchCon was a huge success. We had just about 1,000, give or take, which was way bigger than last year.
And how fast did that room fill up? Like
the room was packed.
Right.
The vibe was good. It was so much fun. Things I need to fix for next year that were... I saw with my own eyes that I needed to move around the room, but my Method fam showed up to support, which meant a lot to me because I don't really know a lot of them yet because I'm still relatively new. So Scott and Sophia, which is Sko and Jari, they brought the Raiders and like they went in and Jari's friend Anastasia was getting it. Like she was on the floor handling her business and she thanked me. She said the party was great, but it was nice because I wasn't drunk Bell on the mic, right? I don't know if you guys knew. I didn't get drunk this year at DitchCon.
It's definitely a lot better.
I had a couple of drinks, but I wanted to watch people enjoy the party versus me being freaked out that it wasn't going to work. Yeah. A lot of good buzz throughout the week. Everybody was like, "Hey, your guys' crew did the party Wednesday." I'm like, "Yep, that was me and my people."
Yeah, because I actually cutting you off. I put the bracelets on my backpack. And
did you? I didn't even know.
30 people are like, "Oh, what's ZitchCon?" Or, "Oh, I heard about that." So we need to throw our name out there more.
Now, in that, people that never spoke to me before, that in fact hated me previously, all of a sudden it was relevant for them, and they came up to me and wanted to be my friend. I thought that was weird, but I guess.
Jeffrey Banks and I hate.
Well,
you.
I'm told that that's normal. That when you start to become relevant, like I'm doing stuff for Method, PWNCAST is growing. We did Con Before the Storm. We did DitchCon. Like we're kind of. Like the herp, right? Like we're in there, guys. We are in there and around there. We are spreading like the herpes virus. But I loved every single second. I wasn't overtired. My feet were dead, but that's okay. We don't mind. I had to wear stinky shoes. But the group as a whole, I felt like it was the best BlizzCon yet. Like in my,
I agree.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to not get emotional because I don't want to cry, but it was a great BlizzCon. So now, Jimma, for your segment, let's talk about your con experiences.
Oh man, my con experience. I mean, like, what a vacation. I agree. I actually wrote down like my best BlizzCon ever. It's very hard to put it in front of the first one because your first one is just, it's your first, it's whatever. But overall, my expectations are really low, right? I want good Warcraft news. I want cosplayers to look at. I want weed to smoke, nice weather for Pokemon Go. And then I even got some special icing on the cake for my vacation. I know this sounds like a little self-centered, but I got a nice new pair of shoes. I got a unwanted charge on my credit card because I couldn't afford Disneyland. I got to go to Disneyland. Even though it was not in my budget. Muse was awesome. I did not like the announcement of Muse. Muse Live was great. I got up close as I could at the time. And they were just awesome to watch. And then I mentioned, it's funny because I don't know a lot of the Warcraft celebrities anyway to be like, oh, there's such and such or whatever. But the ones I know, I don't ask or bother or whatever. But I bumped into the homie Asmongold. So that was another part of just like the icing on the cake as far as just like a good vacation. And, I got my photo with him. And I know I say my expectations were low, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It doesn't take much to keep Jimmy happy. You know what I mean? Like, I reconnected with my current friends, the homies on the show, people that we know, Tio and everybody else that we there. I'm not going to go through a list of names because everyone knows who are our friends. And then I met new friends. And then I met people that I've ran in the fun run for the guild. So I literally put faces to the different characters, 4 to 5 people that I've been gaming with and I didn't even know. So like, it was so great in that sense. And then like, so Belle was talking about getting choked up talking about BlizzCon. I don't get choked up so much about everyone leaving and the goodbyes and the hugs. That first video while we're waiting for the announcements, where it shows players talking about their friends that they've met in game and the BlizzCon experience and the Warcraft. Like, that's where I literally have to hold tears in. I'm like a robot. I don't have emotions, but for whatever reason, this year and last year, that first video, and they were done in different ways, chokes me up. And like, these guys are like laughing and talking, and I'm always like, laughing, pretending not to cry like a grown-ass baby. But like, it was just like from the Warcraft news to DitchCon to hanging out and making this friendship, continue and grow. Like, I had a blast. I had a blast for all of the reasons that I just mentioned. So, and there was no Warcraft Murky Pet, guys.
I know you're still devastated about that.
No, I'm okay with it. I understand. But yeah, I had a blast. I hope you guys did too. I know you did, actually. But
I spent a good portion of it drunk. So, I mean, not too drunk where I didn't know where I was at.
Right.
But we did. Rem?
I actually forgot to mention that my balance of eating habits and knowing to cut myself off and drink, I did very well.
Well, it's only my second con, but yeah, by far my favorite and the best one.
We got Rem fucked up.
Just in the sense, oh god, I almost died during DitchCon.
We got Rem fucked up. Don't drink with me, because if you drink with me, I'm getting you fucked up. Guys, I don't like to say the F word that often anymore because I'm trying to be more like
proper,
ladyish, I guess, if that's even a word. I'm
trying to be famous.
But I'm trying to be like more of a lady because apparently it offends people. I don't really care about offending people. But like, guys, if you drink with me, we getting fucked up.
See, the problem is Mommy Belle didn't give me something. So yeah, I died. Okay.
I forgot to give him it's basically B12, but it's mixed with some other shit. People always think I'm trying to roofie them. I'm like, here, take this pill, because Mama's got to hand all the stuff out to make sure all the youngins don't get sick. But it's how come I never get a hangover. I never get sick or have a hangover because I take those pills when I drink. He got fucked up. He threw up everywhere.
The DitchCon, obviously, I was at the front end mostly with Tio and everyone else, but it was the best con ever. The best thing about going a second time is knowing what not to worry about and when to just kind of chillax. Like, for instance, first year I was like, I gotta go to this panel, I gotta go to that panel, I gotta like run left and right, and it was more of like, oh, the panel started at 10. It's 9:30. I'm just gonna hang out until 11.
We could watch it in one of the other halls where we don't have to fight for a seat.
Well, yeah, the opening ceremony for sure. I actually preferred watching it in the Warcraft on the Warcraft stage because one, you're not crammed in to the main hall, and two, the way they laid it all out, where they had big announcements on the main hall, and then they had Kaplan talking about Overwatch on the actual Overwatch arena, and they made it a lot more fluid and a lot more interactive for the audience for sure. But I love just hanging out with everyone there. And about the show, because it's gonna be a year in about a month for me, which is pretty crazy. And just seeing one person be like, "Oh, hey, yeah, you're Remedies. You're on the show." I don't want to say it gets me all giddy, but it's a good feeling to know that some person actually cares about what you're saying on here, or the news that they're learning from us, or if it's entertaining or whatever it is. But it's a good feeling. Yeah,
Coming up on your year.
Yeah, no, it's because right before Christmas.
Dang, time flies.
When you're having fun.
Right. But you, Belle, did you have fun? I guess you already told us you did.
I have my daughter's phone, and her Snapchat's going crazy.
Oh, yeah, because you're shenanigans.
I snapped on my kid's story because there was things I saw on her Snapchat that I didn't like. So I was schooling the younger generation of how to treat a lady. Anyway, so for me, part of BlizzCon is me getting to see the fruits of the labor all year long of us as a team. So I get to see what that looks like, and us enjoying content together, and us hanging out, and it being in a non-Belle the Tyrant manner, where I get to just,
relax or let loose. I don't know if that's
we work Wednesday and that Thursday because they've come before the storm, but I get to do it in a non-official capacity where we get to just do whatever we want to do. We get to go eat or whatever, and we just get to come together as people. We were really smart this year. We had tons of alcohol in the room, so we didn't have to pay a shit ton at the bar. Like, we did it the right way this year, and like Rem said, we learn each time, I don't really need to focus on this, but I do want to be here for this. I don't need to stand in line for this, but I do want to be here for this.
Oh, yeah, speaking about having alcohol in the room, shout out to Jim at Banks for drinking all my rum chata in fucking one night.
What a dick. I got to meet several people that were on my to-meet list, which Ian Hazakostas was one of them. And then Taryn fucking Gregory. I have stalked Taryn from a distance because he's the reason I cry. So when we cry at a cinematic, it's because Taryn's team. To me, I wanted to meet the guy that made me feel, because I don't have emotions, guys. I don't have feelings. We know this. But if you are able to elicit an emotional response from me, then you are something spectacular. We had a really long conversation, and it was so nice to just see that he's out there every day at the Hilton mingling with everybody, not closed off. Yeah. Like, he's in the thick of it, and him and I had a conversation that I needed to have. So for those of you who don't know, which it's not a big deal and it doesn't mean anything, I promise you, but I did apply for Blizzard. I applied for the World of Warcraft esports project management position because I have project management experience. I don't think for a million years that I'm going to get it. Everybody applies for Blizzard. My mother applies for Blizzard. But one of the things that I talked with him about is the reason that I could probably apply legitimately for my development background, and I could probably get it because I'm a seasoned developer, so I could probably get it. But I don't want to lose my love for the game, which is why I don't want to do development. Esports would be great because I wouldn't lose my love for World of Warcraft because I wouldn't see the behind the scenes, right? But that was one of the things that I just told him, like, I'm scared. If, let's say, they call me in for the first stage of the interview, I have an employee link, so I know I'm going to make it through the first calling. I'll probably get a phone call, at least, for an interview, because when you get an employee link, that at least guarantees they pull your resume. But I wanted to know, do I have to worry about losing my love for World of Warcraft? Because if it's that, or work for Blizzard, I wouldn't work for Blizzard. I would not lose that because that love to me is very special. And although I like knowing secrets, I don't really like knowing secrets. I don't really like knowing them because it's no fun if I can't share them and I can't talk about them and I can't debate and banter. Like, those things aren't fun for me. So his approach to me and the way that he told me about how he keeps it fresh, and he, like, there was parts of High Mountain that he didn't have anything to do with cinematic wise. So when he went through that, he knew nothing about it, which he said that was awesome. And I was like, okay, so you just find a way to balance it, whatever. But I love that he wasn't closed off. In meeting him, gentleman by the name of Andrew sees my with power comes great responsibility, and then my Spider-Man on my arm. He grabs my arm and he's like, you have my mantra, like my life's mantras on your arm. And I'm like, are you a comic book fan? And he's like, I just happen to be a comic book fan. And we have this conversation. We're talking about like Spider-Man, because I have Spider-Man and I have Superman. Obviously, I'm a huge comic book buff, so we're talking about that. Then I find out he, from 2001 to 2007, he did the Spider-Man, the animated series. So he was involved in the introduction of Goblin, the introduction of Sinister, like a couple like really huge moments for the Spider-Man animated series. If you're a nerd like me, he wrote those. He scripted those. I'm already starstruck because of that. I don't even know this whole time he's Blizzard. I have no clue that he works for Blizzard. We're just chatting it up and like we're having a great conversation. I'm completely nerding out because I like talking about superheroes. Then he's like, well, what did you think about Reinhardt? And I thought, hey, when it comes to the Overwatch stuff, I don't play that game. However, I like these things that they're doing with the origin stories. They're super feelsy. You don't have to play the game to have feelings about a character or to feel how they're feeling. So the Reinhardt cinematic was amazing. Like there was tugging at the heartstrings. There might have been some tears behind the eyeballs. And he was like, yeah, that was my team. And I was like, oh, you work for Blizzard? And he was like, I do. And I flipped his badge over and I'm like, you sure do. That was amazing because like I had no idea that he did, and to be able to connect with him for something even outside of a Blizzard game, which was originally how we started talking, which is really nice. And he is super nice. But I got to be where I wanted to be. I got to hang out. I got to meet tons of podcasters that I haven't met before. Shout out to Cuddles. I had a blast with you and your wife this year.
Oh, fucking Cuddles.
Like, just so many great people. Epic Insanity, like, he did a great job with the World of Warcraft panel. These guys did amazing at Calm Before the Storm for this panel, for the podcasters panel. Like, these guys did so good from a podcaster perspective that I love to see podcasters together. And a lot of them are podcasts I don't listen to because they're not World of Warcraft related. So I would have never have listened to them. But we're friends because we're podcasters. We're not bitter, right? Podcasters love each other. I don't have no hate.
It seems like it.
Yeah, I don't have no hate for any other podcast. I love podcasters and I love talking with other podcasters and just being on that wavelength of when I started talking to Taryn or Ian, I instantly turn into podcaster mode, right? Where you instantly start saying these things and you start asking these questions from a podcaster perspective. And I had to stop myself with Taryn like twice. And I'm like, I apologize. The podcaster kind of kicked over and I didn't want this to be, I wanted this to just be a fun, but I would like, yeah. That was the only thing I struggled with, was turning off the podcaster part of my brain.
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, that's who you are, or part of who you are.
Two things really quick. One, I see Groot in the shadow. And
I do see, yeah.
And two, for those that are unaware, Bell does not feel, for sure, can confirm. It is either plain or angry. It's never really sad or teary-eyed. So, full disclosure, we're after the opening ceremony, and we saw the cinematic for Battle for Azeroth. I'm crying when we're walking out. Belle is crying while we're walking out. That's not normal.
It was huge tears. It was big tears.
Because the news is so frigging great. I mean, I guess you're talking about your king? Or,
I needed a hero. I just so bad. I needed my king, and I've been missing this expansion. And Gen is great, guys. Cool. He's off doing whatever weird shit he's doing. Like, that's awesome. And it's awesome that we have Dadgar. I love you, Dadgar. You're the man. But no, Illidan, you're kind of a dick, but whatever. Like, I need my king because we lost our king this year. And that was traumatic enough for me. Like, it needed to happen. It's time for a new generation. But I needed to feel, because I felt like kind of like an orphan. We haven't had a strong leader, and I felt like I needed that. So yeah, I was super like, and that's
Awesome.
all I tweeted in Facebook was my king. Like, people that don't play Warcraft had no clue what that meant, but people that played Warcraft instantly knew that I was talking about Anduin, which was kind of cool. So yeah, there was tears, guys. We had the feels.
Just such a good con. So many good announcements.
World of Warcraft Arena is my favorite to watch live. I met Winstead, which is technically PvP podcast. I met him and his cohort, which was really nice. It was nice to finally meet him. I think his wife's name is Brianna. I'm pretty sure she still listens and watches the show. It was super nice to meet him in person. It was the worst time to meet him because I was super angsty. I was angsty because I was swapping back and forth from side to side wherever they would put my boys. So like when Triforce was on the left of the stage, I was on the left of the stage. Then when they move them to the other side, you have to move along so you be on the right side. So I was playing musical chairs, basically. But Triforce gets knocked out, and I'm screaming. At this point, I've lost my voice already with the first set of matches. So I have no voice. Triforce gets knocked out. Super emotional, some tears there. However, I wasn't as sad because these guys have championships. It's not that big of a deal for them. Fabs' girlfriend was a row behind me, and she was just devastated. Like, that poor thing, man. She was devastated. They played well. I expected better, but the teams were great, though. All these other teams brought their fucking A games. Like, they really, really did.
Yeah, some of those teams didn't expect to get in, then all of a sudden they were like, fuck yeah.
Then we have the Cinderella story. Panda Global, Rub Cub, right? He had a rough year. Booted off one team, booted off another team, made his own team, and they made it happen. They took it all the way to Blizzcon. That is a Cinderella story if I've ever heard one. Do I believe that Rub Cub should have gotten that recognition? It would have been great for him to win. And it would have been NA, right? We haven't had an NA win in 4 years. We haven't had NA win. We've had EU win the tournament. So from that perspective, I would have loved to have seen Rub Cup get that because I feel like he earned it. And Rosita Jones, as much as I don't want to like him because his hair makes me crazy, he's got some spunk, man. He's got a little bit of personality. I'm kind of digging Rosita Jones a little bit from that perspective. Like, he thanked everybody for coming and watching, and like, I appreciate that you acknowledge people that come and sit in these uncomfortable ass seats next to people that sometimes are weird and don't always have the best hygiene, but I appreciated that. So then Synergy happens, right? Now, for those of you who don't know the story with Synergy, obviously I work for Method, so of course I'm going to talk about Method because that's what matters to me. Synergy, Mez and Colo, and Trill. Trill is actually in a different guild. He's actually in Limit Guild. Trill is a little firecracker, man. He's some good... He knows some things. But it was their first BlizzCon in a tournament. Colo's a young kid. His mom goes to every one of his tournaments. She makes them cupcakes with the Method logos on them and cookies.
Oh, that's cute.
She's like the biggest fan of Colo. Colo's a shaman, by the way. So we fight really hard. We lose to Panda Global. Elimination, obviously. The tears are... When I say crying, guys, I was blubbering. I was so sad for these boys. That I thought, fuck Panda Global. Like, I was so mad. But then when I thought about it logically later, I just thought, Rub Cup deserves some good times. But then ABC beat Rub Cup. So ABC, which is an EU team, ended up taking home the trophy, which they're good enough in their own right. So good on them. Like, that's cool. I'm sad that it's another EU team. Like, hello? North America, can we win? Anything? Hello? Sea-Doo, where you at, bruh? Like, can we get something going on here? So, I go by where you're not supposed to be for the guys to get off stage. And I walk up to the guys and I see Colo. And I shake Colo's hand and I'm like, listen, chin up. Like, I know you're really sad right now, but look where you're at right now. You guys played killer. Like, chin up. I see he's got a tear. I start to choke up mid-sentence. In that choking up, I start crying again. His mom looks at me and she starts crying. And I'm like, I apologize. I'm just super emotional. And I know you have more reason to be emotional. But, like, this kind of broke my heart. So the mom starts crying. So I'm hugging Colo. I'm hugging Colo's mom. The guy to my left, I'm sure, is related to Colo in some fashion. He's like, it's okay. We're all emotional. I'm blubbering like an idiot amongst these esports guys. Like, way to make a freaking impact, Belle. Then later I catch Maldiva coming out, and I finally met his girlfriend, which her name is Samantha also. I had avoided Maldiva up until then because some guys' girlfriends are weird. You have to be really careful when you're going up to these esports guys, and it's very important that you acknowledge the girlfriend or wife first. This is my Bell pro tip. If you ever encounter an esports guy and he's with his woman, always acknowledge the spouse first. Because what happens is a lot of times these spouses, they get ignored, right? You go up, you talk to the person, especially for women. It's good to acknowledge them first. Like, oh, hey, you're Mrs. Maldiva.
That's just good etiquette.
Yeah, like I shook her hand. Hey, you're Mrs. Maldiva. It's important that you give respect to these women because these women are the one that hold it down for the men so they can do their nerd shit. So hey, you're Mrs. Maldiva. And I just told him like, hey, your team did good, blah, blah, blah. Like, sorry, that kind of broke my heart. Boop, boop, whatever. So that was really nice. Same day, I catch Sea-Doo and his wife walking. I've never met Sea-Doo in person. He's being bombarded by 50 people. He's got his little suit on. His wife's adorable. So I was like, yo, I just need to shake your hand and I tell you, I like what you're doing up there. Like, you look very comfortable. The casting, you're doing really good with your analyzing. You're very well spoken. I think it's a good fit for you. I said, I appreciate that it's a good fit for you. However, I want to know when I'm going to see you back on a team and when I'm going to see you fighting in arenas. That's what I want to know. Because I want to know when you're going to get your cup. Like, you deserve your trophy. I want to see you get it. And he goes, I don't know. Like, I'm struggling really hard. And his wife was like, I'm trying to push him. And I'm like, we need you to push him. Do it. Doesn't matter if Snuts is playing. If you got to find yourself a whole new team and build it from the ground up. Like, I need you to have that win. 2 hours later, I shit you not, he twitters that he's not giving up. He enjoyed casting, but he's looking for a team that he does want to go back and he does want to compete. I'm not saying I'm the reason.
It's not like that's what you're trying to say.
I'm not saying I'm the reason, but I feel like I helped. But I think I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure like 50 gajillion people probably told him that.
You can talk things into existence these days.
I called my husband and like 2 hours later when I see his Twitter, I'm like, look, I just told him. Like, this just happened and he just tweeted 2 hours later that he was going to look for a team.
That's quite a small window.
We're talking about it.
I think
2 hours.
I think what we'll probably see is we'll see him stay with Method because that's what he loves. But I think we'll probably see him, Sam I Am, and Bean probably build a team. I know Snuts is ready to move on, and to be perfectly honest, I'm ready for Snuts to move on. I think we need another player that's more versatile in the comps. Snuts is really locked into the stuff that he can play, and so is Sea-Doo for that matter. So when you have guys that are really super locked into what their ability is to play and be able to counter when it comes to these tournaments, I think that you need to add at least 1 or 2 people in there that have the ability to be able to swap like that. Like, Sea-Doo's really, really good on his Monk for healing, and he's really, really good on his Shaman for his healing, but he's openly admitted he's shit on his Druid. It is what it is, and that's okay. We need.
He's amazing on Priest. He's fucking good on anything. Okay.
But he's really not. He's not tournament good to be able to win tournaments on everything, which is okay. You don't have to be. You just need a team member that does, and not all of the ones that like. They're not all versatile, but it's going to be okay. I have good vibes. So congratulations to ABC for winning that. If you've never watched an Arena Championship live, it is amazing. I watched it by myself. Don't even feel bad. The second half I watched with Winstead from Technically PvP, but I don't feel bad that I watched it by myself. I scream anyway, guys. Nobody wants to sit next to me while I'm screaming like a fucking mental patient.
I watched some of it by myself, not the championship, but like this is your road to BlizzCon as well, right? You've been following this tournament.
Yeah, I wanted to see the fruits of the labor.
Right.
And like I said, I really wanted to hate Panda Global because they knocked Synergy out. But I really like Rub Cub. I'm excited to see what they're going to do next year, to be perfectly honest. Like, I'm excited to follow it. Grumble was really, really good. Like, a lot of these teams were super great this year.
Was it Triforce with the young guys, right?
So Triforce is Splice. We bought, basically, we were like, hi, we're taking your whole fucking team. And we took the whole team.
What was the team with the Method team where you had the moment with the tiers? Synergy, excuse me. So like a team like that has their whole future, right? Obviously he's young and it was his first con, but like,
and Mez is amazing. Mez
he's not even
is
in his
amazing.
prime yet, right? I mean, you could say that he is, but like he's probably
they're just young kids.
That's what I mean.
And
so like
Mez and Colo together as the combo, they're amazing. I think the first game Mez was on his DK, which is the game they lost. Mez should have stayed on his Windwalker because Mez is a really good Windwalker. But these guys, they're good players. Panda Global, like I said, I really wanted to hate Panda Global, but I really like them. I can't.
No, you did have your moment where you were cussing out.
I was pissed off, but then I just remember all the drama with Rub Cub throughout the year of his people just being mean to him on his teams. Like, leave the poor kid alone. So I'm excited to see what the year is going to bring with esports from a team perspective, and I'm excited to see what other teams we're going to see out there.
Yeah.
There was a couple, what is it, the Rocket Esports, which they're not called, their team isn't Rocket Esports, their team is something else, but it's Rocket Esports, which my buddy Serafita, I think she maybe does the management for them. I'm not sure what her official capacity is with them. But they're, you know, good people too that I think are deserving.
What's really good and scary for the rest of the world is like Rem and I are going to qualify for the tournament next year, or try. So look out.
In the losers bracket, yes.
Is there like a short bus tournament that we can?
It's like... So all in all, BlizzCon was a win, and to those that I met, I love you all. The stream for DitchCon was really bad. I'm gonna fix the audio next year. The audio was awful. It was bad.
You literally blinked and the room was full. It was like so full so early.
Yeah, it was.
For DitchCon,
it was insane. As a team, I feel really good about what we did. I got to meet a lot of great people this year, and not even Blizzard aside, and the famous people that you want to meet because you follow them, like Sea-Doo, like those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was really funny because esports is what I do for Method from a writer's perspective. I know all the guys, so when we would be standing there, I'd be like, "Oh, that's so and so, and that's so and so, and that's so and so," and everybody was like, "Wow, you really know your stuff." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, I have to. These are guys that I have to pay attention to and follow throughout the year." But I got to meet so many different types of people that made me really happy. We sat down, and there was a group of really super straight-laced guys. One of them was wearing flannel, and they looked like they were trying to have a good time, but they weren't really sure. Two of them were husbands and had kids, and the other one was kind of the forever single guy who's kind of the hipster with the shoes with no socks, whatever. I have no fear. I don't fear talking to people. I will strike up a conversation with anybody. I don't get stage fright. I don't have any fear. Well, I have internal fear when it comes to pushing me out of the room when I feel whatever, but I have no fear when it comes to, I don't have social issues when it comes to that. I'm super extroverted. So we strike up a conversation with these guys. I find out they're from Arizona. It's super cool. We're drinking. 5 minutes later, we're showing each other pictures of our kids. And I'm like, I love that you could just get drunk and show pictures of your kids to people. But we had an entire conversation. It was a lovely conversation. I got to learn about the reasons they play, which they have kids. They don't get to play that often. Not everybody is a win from a meeting perspective. Some of y'all are just weird, okay? And I'm just going to need you to acknowledge that you're weird.
That I wish I had that. I don't know what you just called it as far as talking to people or like introducing. Like that's what I struggle with.
You don't really. I feel like if there's a buffer, right? If there's a buffer.
Correct. Yes. If it's silent, I just can't. I don't know.
And we've already talked about Rem. I'm like the worst friend for Rem to have because he has all kinds of social anxiety. So like,
no, but that's
probably
what
because
I
of
was
you.
trying to explain is that's a good mixture because if it's just me in the room with someone else, unless we don't have anything in common, I don't want to.
But especially if you have like a fear of talking to people, I'm not the one because we're talking to everybody. Like we're going wall to wall talking to everybody. But it was nice. I get to see Chad, which is Celestalon. I got to buy him a drink, and he's my favorite because he makes me feel important, and I'm not, and I love it because he'll scream like you guys saw him. He'll scream across the Hilton, Belle! Like he makes me feel like I'm completely relevant, and I know I'm not, and that's okay. He's fabulous. He said the worst joke ever. So he tells me to feel he's super drunk at this point. The wall's holding him up. He tells me to feel a shirt, and he's like, "Do you know what material that is?" And I'm like, you're so gay.
I'm stealing that. I'm stealing it.
I said that. I told my husband. I'm like, he probably told that to 20 people. It was so funny.
I'm going to go tell it to 100.
Now you have a line to use. But
I really do.
So to recap, WoW good.
Very good.
Actually, every game had something.
There's good stuff, I think. Yeah. For sure.
I heard the Diablo people, not that we care about Diablo that much.
We have tons of pictures that I'll compile into some type of video when I'm not dead. we have tons of that stuff. So
Yeah, I'm gonna learn how to better manage social media next year.
You know what? You don't even have to. It's not even something you have to do. But I just wanted to say for the Ian Bell conversation, I got it on Snapchat and
Oh,
Deadpool
a night angle.
dancing behind Ian. Oh,
I'm trying to have a conversation with this developer to help him help me. And Deadpool, which is a guildie of ours, Ryan is his name. He's like twerking, like body grinding on Ian the whole time. And I'm not paying attention. I don't see this. I'm so trying to sound intelligent that I'm thinking of every word before I say it because I'm talking to a developer. So when I got done talking to him, I'm like, guys, I was intelligent and I was thoughtful and I said things that were important and made sense. Like flashback to 2015 when I first meet Ben Rookie and I look like a fucking retard. Like, yeah, that's literally my face. If you haven't seen the picture, there's a picture of me and Ben Rookie that haunts me. And every time I go meet somebody, I always think of that picture because my face carries my emotion. I have I can't control this. If I'm feeling something, but I'm lying to you and telling you I'm not feeling that, it's here. You just have to look because I can't, like, friends have to tell me, hey, you're doing a thing with your face. You're stop.
Your face looks weird. Stop it.
Yeah, you need to stop making that face. But guys,
wasn't that happening during BlizzCon at some? I don't know what point, but someone's like, your face. I don't know what it was.
It happened at a time when it shouldn't have been happening when I needed to be professional. But I couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on, and my face clearly was giving me away, and I had to like stop doing what I was doing because my face was not professional.
Hilarious.
So yeah. Guys, I think we had a good time, and to those of you we got to meet, that's awesome. To those of you we didn't, I'm sorry. To those of you who want to go next year, it can be done. Don't think that I encourage it. It's addicting when you go to your first one. I'll start saving in January. I always save in January. Hopefully no medical.
Yeah, no Timmy 2.0.
We drank, we ate, we did things.
It was great.
It was good. Good times, guys. We are way over. We've had a very, very long show. We didn't really have weeks in WoW. Did you guys have weeks in WoW? I didn't.
Yeah, I've been playing the last 2 days like crazy.
What'd you do this week in World of Warcraft then?
Just continued my druid and monk progression, I guess. I don't know. Fixed up my followers on the druid side because it's still like somewhat of a fresher 110. So I showed I've got a roommate and he was my old officer from my guild, and he hasn't played since MOP, and I was showing him WoW today, and he was very impressed. So yeah, I just did normal WoW stuff. I don't know. I just had fun. My goal, before I know we're already over time, my goal for next BlizzCon is to record everything. It's not that we didn't get any good pictures or videos, but I did the pet battle thing. That was my thing for a while on YouTube, and I really want to record my travels in real life, not just for BlizzCon, but also for BlizzCon. So I hope to have some experience under my belt and bring the PWNCAST viewers just a visual of more of what we get to see.
Yeah.
Ram, did you play WoW?
I did. I did Argus stuff, obviously, to catch up on everything that I didn't do that whole week.
Right.
But no, I started leveling a horde again. All my horde are like level 90 and 95 on some obscure server, Balnazar, Bleeding Hollow. They're just fucking scattered. But I'm gonna level a horde. I'm gonna be consistent with it for Battle for Azeroth.
Traitor.
Well, until Bell realizes I'm going to leave the guild for a horde guild. Kidding. But no, I'm going to level up the horde and have a good time with that. And yeah.
Did you we know Belle was having some lovely questing today with her hubby. What else?
I did. I was helping him get his, he needs to have his flying. It's important that he has his flying. He's really locked into a lot of things by not having that. And even just his world quest to proc his second legendary. I want him to be able to get his mount because I think it's important that you get your class mount. But I'm just happy he's gaming. Like, I don't even mind.
Yeah.
What's funny is every year when I go away for a week, he always loves me a lot. But he loves me even more when I come back. And I think it's because, like, we both realized, to me, I miss my family, but not as much as they miss me because I'm busy. They're not. I'm all over the place the whole week. I don't really have time to miss them, per se.
Right.
Like, I miss... But I'm good about that. I call him every morning. I FaceTime him before we go out. You guys have been to the hotel room when I'm on FaceTime.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I'm
like, oh, you're talking to...
I FaceTime him every morning. And I FaceTime him when I go to bed. If he's asleep, I text him and he'll wake up and I'll even at 3 o'clock in the morning, he'll FaceTime. I've done that like clockwork every time I go. That way I have my morning and my evenings. And then I forced him to get Snapchat this year so that I could snap the stuff that was going on. But
did you tell him that you gave everyone, or is it still a secret?
No, so we did things with my husband. We all of a sudden everybody added him to Snapchat and he couldn't figure out why. And I was like, that's weird that everybody knew he just joined Snapchat.
Well, actually, legitimately, it would show up on our contact list. Like, hey.
So now he couldn't figure out he had no idea that I was messaging. I was PM everybody and giving them his Snapchat code. But yeah, for my husband, they really miss me because they don't, he makes hot dogs or whatever weird shit men do when they cook for their children. The house was trash. The kids ate junk food. And I know because when I came home, there was empty bags of chips in my son's room, which is not okay when I'm home. So you just know that things didn't go, and you're okay with that. You don't come home and nitpick. He cleans the house. He spends all day Sunday cleaning for when I get home because he knows
what do we use in the shower?
He called me and said, hey, what cleaner do you use in the shower? So that he could make sure that was clean. But he loves me more every time when I come back. He super loves me, and I take advantage of that.
It's cute.
Holy.
Nice.
So, guys.
We're not going to do a 3-hour show, you sure?
No, we're not going to do a 3-hour show.
I had fun on the new night.
Guys, I apologize you had to listen to my awful voice. For those of you that listen on audio, I know this sounds like garbage, and I am so sorry. I'm praying to God that I wake up in the morning and I'm miraculously better. But every year I get con crud. Every year.
Just be better for next Thursday. And sorry for the long delay.
I know. Poor people were tweeting, hey, where's the show? Are you guys dead? And I'm like, oh, remember, we're transitioning. So.
Wait,
Yeah.
News to me.
Guys, we're going to get out of here. I have to drink some orange juice. And, guys, thank you so much for giving us your 2 hours every week. If you're new to PWNCAST, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Thank you for listening. Oh! Yeah. I almost forgot. We had people, guys. Let me find them.
We had people. I don't know what she means, but we had people.
I don't either.
How do you pronounce this? Leikeai.
Lichen.
Lakia?
I don't know.
What was it again?
Leikeai. Lakia?
That'd be like Leaky.
I butchered your name and I apologize, but I love you. Lakai? Okay.
Sure,
I can't read word. I need to go to Zoolander Center for the kids who can't read good. October 23rd gave us 5 stars, said love.
Thank you.
Love you guys. I have a 4-year-old and it's so much easier to listen to you all to get my news than to have to search. Than to have to search it down on the web and get interrupted every 5 minutes while reading. Girl, I feel you. Or boy, I don't know if I feel like you're a girl, but I understand. I feel you.
Either way, girl.
I usually listen while taking her to school. My only complaint is that I seem to not be getting my new episodes till Thursdays now instead of Fridays. Whoops. And then there's another one.
And another one.
Love you, Dreadlord, Solified. Took a break from WoW and listening to podcasts for a while now, but I'm back in and just listened to you again. I missed you guys. Great chemistry and knowledge of Warcraft. See you at BlizzCon. Solified. I feel like we met them at BlizzCon. Maybe, perhaps. Yeah.
Solidified died? Solified?
I'm not really sure 100%, to be perfectly honest. But they've seemed to know us. So, yeah, guys, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Right? We know them. Right? Did you meet them?
No, I mean, like, if we know them through the everything. All of the above.
So, really quick, are you excited to go to Oyster Reef?
So weird.
I am, yeah.
Guys, we're gonna get on out of here.
Bye.
I want you to know. I was so immature. The row in front of me when I was laughing when he said clam, The chick was like, "What's funny?" Obviously, you don't have a sense of humor to know why the word oyster's funny.
Why is it funny?
I am not mature at all. And I openly admit that. Like, I'm not trying to be mature. Mature people have no fun.
I need all the listeners to know, and the scary thought is being mature right on the show.
I want to be where the people are. You know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying?
I want to be where the people are.
That was a great song, Rem.
Mm-hmm.